Let me just see if I need to. Video settings. Okay. Hi. Do I need to unmute you?
No, I'm unmuted.
Okay. I'm just looking at the settings to see if I want to like adjust any. Maximize zoom window when a participant share the screen, enter full. Oh, maybe that's what we'll do. So if we want to have like you and I on the screen at the same time, I actually don't think we can.
No.
We can have it on Spotlight, which will bounce back and forth between the two of us, but it won't, right?
Fine. Yeah, we can't be on
It'll just have to be like that, I guess. Let me just see. Side-by-side mode. What does that mean? Enable participants to see the shared screen alongside either the speaker view. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, silence system notifications when sharing desktop. Okay, enable remote control of all applications. I don't know what that means. Okay, chat. Should I leave the chat on? The chat function?
You can leave it on, but if you see on the bottom, like you could send a private chat.
Only private messages and mentions, or leave all?
No, actually, it's only private. So maybe we'll just leave it private so that we can communicate with the.
Only private messages and mentions. Okay, let's see. Chat settings. Let's see. Read messages. Keep going. Keywords. Place that when I receive a new message. I guess I'll leave that on. I was also realizing that what I'll do is when you're doing Shakespeare trivia, I'll put the judges into a breakout room.
Oh, excellent! Right.
That way they can talk, and then whatever.
Right. Thank you for reminding me because I have to find my Shakespeare trivia contest. Hold
on. So together, she and I conceived Envision Shakespeare, and this is our 6th season, which is really exciting. And thank you so much to all the schools who are participating. What's really exciting about this year is that 11 schools were participating. That's the most ever, really the most ever. Schools all the way from, we have Brooklyn, lots of New Jersey schools. We have Westchester, Long Island, New York. So it's really exciting to have really schools that are all different types of schools are involved, schools for just girls, schools for just boys, schools that are co-ed. That's pretty much it. So what's really exciting about this program is that it allows the students to work collaboratively with their other students in their school who also love theater and love Shakespeare. And this really gives students an opportunity to put their own mark on Shakespeare. So I just want to get started by introducing, I just put some words together, thoughts about this particular year. And then I'll throw it over to Nancy. We want to introduce you to all of our judges who are here today. And then we'll go right into our keynote speaker. Followed by that, we have the judges and scene presentations. Then we'll have the sonnet competition while the judges are deliberating in a breakout room. Nancy will be sharing some Shakespeare trivia. I know that you guys all love that. And then we'll award our sonnet competition winners, say a few words of thank you and farewell, and see you next time. So let's get started. The arts are more important now than ever. It provides us with a tool for self-expression, socialization, creativity, and a way to process this time. The arts as a whole has always adapted to the current climate, reflected it, and commented on it. And theater has always found a way to adapt and survive. Even though theaters are closed, the internet is alive with play readings, video adaptations, living room concerts, fundraising events, and so much more. While this time is scary and filled with unknowns, it is also exciting as we artists have been pushed to look deep down and problem solve, to create new and innovative ways to create and showcase our art. We here at Envision Theater have done just that with our school partners, just as we're doing here tonight with Envision Shakespeare. And I know that many of your own schools, your own school shows never made it to the stage this spring, and that your cast had to rethink their shows. You had to use your critical thinking skills. You had to collaborate. You had to problem solve. You had to innovate. You had to use your creativity. All those skills are things that theater teaches, so that you could recreate theater for today. Some of you adapted your script for Zoom. Others created videos of your shows, and others scrapped their show entirely that they've been working on for many months and started all over again with a brand new script designed specifically to be performed online. The fact that you kept theater alive at your school is a testament to the fact that theater is so vital. I want to thank all of you, students, teachers, theater professionals, for being so flexible as Nancy and I figured out how best to adapt this program. And we are so excited to hear the details of your scenes and what you would have been presenting live, and see whatever you presented for us tonight. Just a quick gallery view. You can put your cameras back on for a second, please. I want to just do a quick raise your hand if. Can you just raise your hand if, whether virtually or literally, if this is your first year participating in Envision Shakespeare? Let's see. Okay, how many of you, this is your second year? Teachers, you can raise your hands too. Whose third year is this?
Oh my gosh.
Wow. And who's been doing this all 4 years and is now going to be graduating high school?
Do we have any?
Let's see, Alana. Wait,
Wow.
a lot of hands here. Hold on. Who's been doing this all 4 years? I saw Alana. Hold on, let me go on to the next page. You all deserve shout outs. I can't see, not everyone turned their camera
We have
off.
a lot of cameras off, so we don't know.
I know Alana's not the only one. But a lot of you have, and a lot of the teachers have also participated in multiple years, which is also really exciting. And I thank you for continuing to support Envision Shakespeare at your school, and making it a priority for you and your students. We really appreciate that. I'd like to throw it over to Nancy, who will connect what we're doing tonight to Mr. Shakespeare himself.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Nancy Edelman. I currently am the head of humanities at the Idea School, but before that, I worked at TABC teaching English and art history and other things for 19 years. And I've been working with Rebecca for this is our 6th year, as we said, on this really great program. And of course, I love Shakespeare, so what could be better? Anyway, so Rebecca and I always, we think, very long and hard about which play we're going to choose. And the last time we did a comedy was actually our first year, and we did Twelfth Night, and we picked the perfect scene, and it was really great. And every year, sometimes we do a tragedy. One year we did The Tempest, which is a romance. Now last year, we did Romeo and Juliet, and it happens to be that that was Act 3, Scene 1. And in that scene, if you were there, you might remember Mercutio saying, as he is dying, a plague on both your houses. And here we are. We are in a plague. So, and it also happens to be, and I don't know if maybe you guys were reading about this also, that plagues actually featured very prominently in Shakespeare's life and in his time. And you may have read, when people were trying to make you feel better about being in quarantine, about Shakespeare actually having his most productive time during the plague, right? So he wrote King Lear in 1604 during an outbreak of the Black Plague. And that's a pretty dark play, right? That is probably his darkest play. We haven't done that yet. I don't know, Rebecca, if we want to depress everyone. It's horrible, right? I mean, I love it, but it's, no, he actually wrote Romeo and Juliet, and I did a little research, and 2 months after Romeo and Juliet was produced, and there's a record of a plague in Stratford-upon-Avon. It also happens to be that Shakespeare's son Hamnet, who we really think that Hamlet is named after, died in 1596, possibly also of plague. So plague really you know, was a thing in Shakespeare's time, and people went into quarantine a lot. And so, but we have to really, you know, be grateful to Shakespeare that he used that time to be super creative. I hope that you guys did too. Midsummer Night's Dream, on the other hand, was written, it might have been written for a wedding celebration or for some celebration for the Queen, we're really not sure. But because it's a comedy, and it's one of the best comedies, you know, it's full of fun, and it's full of the classic comedy, like, you know, marriages and dramatic irony and mistaken identity and people being, you know, tricked all over the place. But it's really just meant to be fun and the kind of thing you want to do in the summer. So I'm hoping that this play will usher in, also hopefully we'll be able to have kinds of celebrations and weddings again, and get out of quarantine, because Midsummer Night's Dream is not really a quarantine play, not at all. It celebrates youth and health and fun, so hopefully that'll get us in the mood for this summer. With that, I can't wait to see what everyone did with their scenes, or what they were planning to do with their scenes, because this is a super fun play. So the first thing we want to do is just introduce the judges. So Rebecca and I are just going to tell you a little bit about it, and when we read your bio, judges, if you could just, you know, say hi so your screen can light up. So our first judge, and by the way, our judges are here. They're going to give you guys feedback. They will judge the sonnet competition, but you know, no one's winning any, you know, trophies tonight for their scenes. But I think it'd be really great to have all these professionals here to give you guys like feedback on where you were going with your scenes. So our first judge is Sabrina Alamo, and she is a New Jersey-based actress and teaching artist for grades K through 12. Sabrina, can you say hi to? Okay. She's had the pleasure of teaching various classes in acting, playmaking, musical theater, playwriting, and stagecraft with educational theater programs such as Illuminart Productions, Phoenix Productions, Premier Stages, and the Kane University Theater Conservatory. As an actress, she has performed in regional theaters throughout New Jersey and New York, as well as in schools for educational theater performances. Sabrina is also a member of Actors Equity Association's EMC program. Thanks for coming, Sabrina.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see.
Next we have.
Okay, so I'm gonna put Sarit in here because she wasn't.
Okay, great.
Okay, so Sarit Pearl is a teaching artist. She's a proud thespian who has always loved being involved in every aspect of showbiz, on stage and off. Pegged as a drama queen at an early age, she has embraced the role of a dedicated performer, acting in elementary and high school plays, participating in Cam Shoshanim's theater program. I love that program.
Me too.
And now a performing member of the Stern College Dramatic Society. Sarita has since returned to Shoshanim as an assistant in the theater program, where she has gained experience in and passion for directing, designing, stage managing. And this summer, I think this was written last year, she was coming back as an assistant director, but unfortunately Cam Shoshanim will not be opening this summer, so she cannot be doing that this summer. She's currently pursuing a shaped major in theater at Stern College for Women. In her spare time, she enjoys spending time with her family, friends, listening to show tunes, and when Broadway reopens, getting some more rush tickets to see some shows. Say hi, Sarit.
Hi, everyone. Really excited to be here.
Great. Okay, so next we have Stuart Nagar. Say hi, Stuart. There's Stuart. Stuart lives a creative life as a teaching artist. He brings improvisation, theater arts, storytelling, and script creative writing to schools, educational conferences, corporate workshops, professional development, and theaters. If Stuart had to choose a label to describe himself, his answer is always 100% creative. So
break a leg, everyone, tonight.
Okay.
Arlie Rubens.
Hi, everybody.
Is an actor, dramaturg, and a recent graduate of Kane University Theater Conservatory. In addition to performing and coordinating audience outreach projects, she has worked as dramaturgy and education intern at the Shakespeare Theater of New Jersey and as a teaching assistant for Kane Theater Conservatory's Advanced Classical Acting course. There's Arlie. Hello.
Okay, and Dathan, who's also a returning judge, Dathan B. Williams is the Associate Artistic Director of the Harlem Shakespeare Festival and Associate Adjunct Professor at City College of New York. Most recently, he played Salarino in Southwest Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice, one of my favorite plays to teach. dad in the New York City premiere of Jump at APAC, and he made his off-Broadway directing debut with me and Step In and at the New Federal Theater. As an actor, he has enjoyed a career in both dramatic and musical theater. Highlights include Broadway, Showboat, off-Broadway, Christmas in Hell, plus 8 others, national tour Showboat, plus 3 others. And internationally, he spent 2 seasons at Canada's Stratford Festival, and he was the 1991 Guthrie Award for Most Promising Young Actor. So that's quite a bio, and thank you so much, Dathan, for being with us.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be back again. I'm looking forward to everything. Have a great time.
Thank you. Thank you, judges, for being with us tonight. And we really value your contributions, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts. Now it is time to introduce our keynote speaker, Lonnie Firestone. She is a writer, interviewer, and podcaster. She holds a BA in English from the University of Michigan and an MFA in theater from Columbia University. She has written articles on theater and television for the Wall Street Journal, Glamour, Vanity Fair, Tablet, American Theater, Playbill, and Departures, among other publications. She hosts a podcast called Places Everyone that explores how stage and screen artists develop their work and hone their craft. Places Everyone is supported by IFWA, the Institute of Financial Wellness for Artists. Lonnie lives in Brooklyn, New York, with her husband and 2 sons, and I'm proud to call her my cousin. Firestone, would you please grace us with your words?
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Lovely to see you. Thank you to Envision Shakespeare for this invitation, and especially to Rebecca Lopkin and Nancy Edelman for leading this wonderful program. I'm really happy to be here. During this time of social distancing, when theaters are closed and Broadway is shut down, there may be high schoolers who have their first theater experience online. They might listen to the cast recording of a musical on Spotify, or discover that a group of playwrights and actors have started writing and performing scenes on Zoom. Maybe their interest is piqued and they begin to seek out longer performances, full plays on Broadway HD, filmed versions of musicals like West Side Story, or televised adaptations like The Wiz Live. All of these experiences will be mediated through a screen. Despite their immediate accessibility and captivating facets in their own right, they don't, nor will they ever have the energy of live performance. How lucky you have been to know theater up close in real time. As performers yourselves and as audience members, you have so much to teach your friends who have never experienced it. You know that Shakespeare isn't just old language, but a living, breathing thing that you make new each time you speak and perform the words. These months will test what theater actually is. As artists create new work during this time, the line between TV, film, and theater will be increasingly blurred. If you watch a performance of a Shakespeare play, say Julius Caesar or Hamlet, on a screen, what do you call it, a play or a film? Theater must be live or else it's something else, right? To answer that, I want to go back in time a little bit. There's never been a time in my life when I watched a performance and didn't want to discuss what I just saw. Whether it's a play or a musical or even a film or TV show, any type of engaging storytelling, I feel compelled to unpack the experience and reflect on it. What story is the writer telling? What surprising choices did the director make? If it's an old story, what felt new this time around? I can't separate seeing theater from discussing it. It would be like swallowing food without chewing. That's the meaning of ruminate, in fact, to chew over. I can track this impulse back to my earliest experiences seeing theater. As a kid, I would delight at live performance. I went to the blockbuster musicals, but also the sophisticated plays, Pinter, O'Neill, Shakespeare. Afterward, my mom or dad would say to me, "What did you think?" And I'd piece together my thoughts. Asking what did you think is such an essential part of experiencing art. I began to develop an active engagement with the work I saw. There's no doubt in my mind that I can draw a line from the first time my parents asked me what I thought to my work as an arts writer and interviewer today. As I moved on to high school and college, I read novels and wrote essays and saw lots of musicals, but I had no idea what I would pursue in the arts. I had no real desire to be on stage, though I've always loved to sing and still do. My interests were tied to critiquing art, to studying its history and trends, to investigating how art is made and sharing that discovery with others. I remember one night I went to see a show with some friends, and afterward I was all set to dive deep into a discussion about what we had just seen, to unpack all the story arcs and themes. No one else was interested in that level of analysis, and I stood out for being so, what was it, academic, nerdy? Someone in the group who I didn't know as well motioned to me and said, "Does she always do this?" In that moment, I realized, yes, I always do this. It made me crave a community of artistic, creative people. And with that idea in mind, I applied to Columbia University's MFA program in theater with a specialty in dramaturgy. In time, interviewing and writing became my passions. Both involve the deep thinking and reflection on art that I find so rewarding. And sharing these thoughts through my articles and through my podcast enables more people to think about art in expansive ways. One of the essential facets to being a good writer is reading. And the secret to being a good reader is rereading. Whenever I read a brilliant paragraph in a book or article, I immediately read it a second time. During my year in Israel between high school and college, my constant companion was a collection of Shakespeare's sonnets that I found at a bookstore in Jerusalem. I would read them again and again, discovering a new layer of meaning in my fourth or fifth read. Rereading gives you true comprehension. Think of your Shakespeare rehearsals. Did you learn something new about Helena when you read her lines a second and third and fourth time? In fact, I'd say that studying Shakespeare and reading it aloud again and again has something in common with Torah study. There are many perspectives on every phrase and multiple meanings to every word. The experience is richer when it's read out loud, and there's a melodic flow to every verse. Envision Shakespeare is certainly onto something. A Jewish education gives you greater ability to read and interpret Shakespearean plays. As someone with a strong Jewish background, I know that I bring the skills of focused reading to my work in the arts. And there's an added bonus of Jewish knowledge. It comes up again and again in my interviews. A few months ago, I interviewed David Simon, the creator of several TV shows for HBO, most famously The Wire. His current TV series is The Plot Against America, based on the novel by Philip Roth. At the center of the story is a Jewish family that is not religious per se, but they keep certain aspects of Jewish observance. In my interview, I asked David Simon why he specifically chose to begin the story at the start of Shabbat. Before I knew it, we were talking about davening and where he was bar mitzvahed. He knew that I'd get all his references. My Jewish upbringing has given me specific insights and reference points that enhance my work, whether or not the subject matter has anything to do with Judaism. And when the subject matter is less familiar to me, I still come back to the roots of my education, namely in-depth reading and probing questions. This past fall, I interviewed Ephraim Sykes, an actor who recently wrapped up a starring role in the Broadway show Ain't Too Proud, and who previously was a cast member in Hamilton. Ephraim grew up as a devoted churchgoer who performed in a gospel choir. In that conversation, I was there to learn, to ask good questions. My theme for that interview became how gospel is a form of artistic training. Each of my interviews has a central theme. That is because a discussion about theater is inherently a discussion about ideas. That is the point of art, I think, to take an idea and crack it open, to expand ways of thinking, to find humanity in other people's lives. Theater is uniquely good at those things. And with that, let's circle back to my initial question. Can we still call it theater if it's not live? Is there anything else that defines it? The most salient attribute of theater is indeed the fact that it happens between actors and audiences in the same room. There's no denying that. But there are other elements that are specific to theater. For one, theater is a language-based form, while TV and film are visual forms. That doesn't mean a TV series can't have beautiful writing and powerful dialogue. It can, and many do. But the emphasis is on the visual, the close-up shots, the multiple angles, the cut-tos. Camera work and cinematography either match or surpass the writing. Try to think of a TV series in which a scene lasts longer than 20 minutes. In theater, that's a regular occurrence, right? Because the emphasis in theater is exploring the parameters of a scene, what the characters say to each other and to themselves, and how they move through a particular space. That's why in theater, the playwright is in control, whereas in TV and film, it's the director. In a play, language is of utmost importance. Therefore, storytelling in which dialogue takes its time to build dramatically is inherently theatrical, even if it occurs on screen. Another key element of theater is the way it asks us to make our imaginations expansive. We know that simple park bench on stage isn't actually in Central Park, but for the sake of the story, we believe we're watching a scene unfold in Central Park, simply because two characters sit on a park bench. The non-realistic nature of theater allows us to trust the story and follow its narrative path. To convey the forest in A Midsummer Night's Dream, a director can be representational more than realistic. That means we don't need to see trees rendered in perfect detail. Instead, a director can show us something poetic about nature. As an audience, we'll fill in the rest. Because theater does not hew to realism the way TV and film do, a theatrical work, whether live or on screen, can rely on viewers' suspension of disbelief. These two categories, the emphasis on language and the expansive imagination, are both well suited to this moment when we are apart in our own spaces. How can you make theater right now? Create a video with your friends. Focus on the dialogue. Heighten the theatricality. Make the setting representational, not realistic. Record the whole thing in one take. This is theater. This is how it thrives. I can't wait to see what you create. Thank you so much.
That was really great.
Thank you, Lonnie. That was fabulous. We have some time for some Q&A.
Oops.
Question of Lonnie. Learn more about the articles she's written or the people she's interviewed or her fabulous podcast, which I subscribe to and I suggest all of you do too. She sends you a great little email to let you know what the next one's about, and you can then listen to it at your pleasure. So if you have a question or comment or something you would like to ask or pick Lonnie's brain about, you go ahead and raise your hand or put a little icon on your screen. I see Rami. Go ahead, Rami. Just introduce. I'm just saying who you are and what school you're from.
Hi, I'm Rami Levin. I go to TBC, and I've had the pleasure of having Mrs. Lopkin as a director for a number of my shows. So, big fan. Yeah, I would just like to ask, like, in your opinion, how do you think theater and live performances are going to have to adapt due to the pandemic?
It's definitely an incredibly tough time for theaters right now. Broadway is completely shut down, and theater companies are not open to ticket buyers actively. And so right now, sometimes theaters are relying on people donating back their tickets to sort of sustain their funding. But I think what we're going to see over the next several months, because this is not just this season, it's possibly all of next season. And I think what we're going to see is people get a lot more creative with video. So the more that theater artists no video editors, I think will be to their advantage. I think that the more that theater artists get adept at sound editing and visuals, I mentioned that theater isn't a language form, but the ability to adapt to Zoom and to different kinds of visual forms will be to the advantage of theater. So there's many ways to be creative. I think what will happen by virtue of necessity is people will be forced to be creative in ways that they have never been before. So I saw recently the Public Theater in Manhattan did a play that was on Zoom, and the play was like centered on Zoom. So the characters were on Zoom and so were the actors. You can't sustain that for many productions, but that was a well done way to engage in this type. There's something at, I'm forgetting which theater it was, another off-Broadway theater in the city. They, the playwright wrote a play that the listeners at home will act out. So there's all kinds of bizarre things, but I think they'll start to hone the skill and find ways to charge for it, because that's really what theaters need to do to be able to sustain their staff. And as people who love theater yourselves, when you see those kinds of involvements, hopefully it's not only on YouTube, it's ways that you can actually pay for, and you can sustain the form.
Thank you. Let's see, anyone else have a question? I see Luzzy, you put your virtual hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, your answer to his thing just reminded me of something, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. Didn't Disney just purchase the rights to the Hamilton taping or whatever it was called? So what do you think? Like that? I think the tape was done before, the Corona time. So do you think that's gonna, even when you can go back to the theater, do you think that things like this are still going to continue, like virtual theater performances? And that kind of thing. Yeah.
That purchase, I mean, that decision to show Hamilton in July was, I think, a bit of a Hail Mary, because it was supposed to be more than a year later, because Hamilton was going to sustain itself with, $3 million a week of revenue on Broadway. So without that, they decided, okay, we're not going to have that revenue week to week on Broadway currently. Let's get it to audiences right now in the way that they can. So I think people still want to be able to monetize this. It's still a business. But I think different networks will be very smart to find creative ways around it. If things have been partially filmed, NBC and Fox do live versions of musicals. I think to the extent that they can make it happen and maybe finishing editing it in people's own spaces. Like I said before, I think this kind of new kind of creativity will be essential right now. No theater company or no artistic director will say that they're content to just sit on their savings for the next year. Everyone wants to find opportunities to make this work. So I think in the first wave, I'm seeing a lot of compilation videos on YouTube, and those are great. They give you a little fix of what you've been missing. But what I'm really hoping happens, and what I hope theater patrons and theater lovers really are game for, is really paying for it. Just the way that, now movies are in theaters much shorter, because they'll just like go to Netflix, go to Amazon, etc., or to iTunes, and you can buy it. So I'm hoping that that'll be an opportunity for people to patronize the art that they love, because theater is a unique form. It's really different from TV and film. And I think that there's an opportunity to still pay for it, buy a ticket, so to speak, so that people can still keep the forum going.
Looks like we have another question from Eliza Gans.
Yep, from Bria.
Great.
She's in costume. I love it.
Yeah, awesome.
So you've made something of your life for something that you love. So what advice would you give to somebody looking to pursue a career in something of the performing arts?
I guess I would say that when you are really truly interested in the work, that it will, like, the productivity will naturally come, and like the drive will naturally come. And I'll say that, like, I write articles and get paid for them, But there are so many pitches and ideas that I send out that don't get approved. Like that, they're like, no thanks. And then there's a bunch that do. And then those are the ones that I write and get paid for. So you have to really just not get discouraged and really just say, like, do I truly love it? If I do, the work will come. The energy will come, the productivity will come. Like, you'll just want to, like, just keep going. Like, you won't get discouraged because you truly love the work. At the same time, I think it's good to think widely, to think expansively. So if there are things that that excite you that aren't quite in your lane, but that feel engaging, absolutely pursue them. So like the Juilliard School, or the conservatory in Manhattan, is a place that I worked for 2 years. And I did fundraising and I did lots of event work. And that was not quite my wheelhouse, but I sort of thought, I want to be around artists, I want to experience what they're doing, and I want to promote them and make the art happen. So the more you want to be in that room, if you say, I want to be in this room with performing creative people, you'll say, I'm going to keep at that thing, that bullseye, but also I'm going to think expansively about other things that can still satisfy my interests and that I can also be productive and begin a career with, or begin an internship with.
Thank you. Does anyone have any further questions or comments? This is our last couple minutes before we move on to the next part of our program. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Lonnie. That was amazing. Thank you,
everyone.
I learned so
Okay,
much.
thank you, Lonnie. That
Thank
was really great. As Lonnie was talking, I also just was thinking about what my nephew did during quarantine, which my nephew was the head writer. I don't know if you guys saw Saturday Night Seder. If you saw it, my nephew was the head writer. That was, I guess, one of his ideas or someone who got him. I'm hoping that we can actually get him to come. He's a comedian. He's also a television writer. And so he'd be a great person to talk to everyone. So if you're graduating, I'm sorry, but come back next year, because I'm hoping that we're going to get him to talk about how he did that, because we're also obviously very proud of him. But it was really good, actually. And actually, when I watched that, I thought, okay, maybe we can save Envision Shakespeare this year. So I'm happy that we're going to start the program now. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to call on each school, and we're going to go alphabetically. And so what we'd like to hear from you is, if you have it prepared, you'll have your director speak about the vision for the scene. That should be no more than 5 minutes. And then each school also has no more than 10 minutes to do whatever run through you've prepared. And I know that some of you have a pre-recorded video, Rebecca, right? So
Yep. Yes. If you have a pre-recorded video, just let me know which one of you will be sharing it from your screen, and I'll make you a co-host for the next many minutes, and then I'll unco-host you. Same for the sonnets. I know some of you sent them to me, but I would rather you just played them yourselves. If you have an issue with that, I can do it, but I didn't set up for that. Okay. Also, I got a message that SAR needs to go a little earlier than the letter S would be. So we'll maybe put you in maybe 4th. We'll just sort of push them a little earlier.
okay.
Okay, so
Great.
we're going to start with Bruria. Shalva, did you just message me that you're the sharer? Yes.
Yeah.
She did. Okay, Shalva. Okay, so I'm going to set you up for that. Where is your name? Oh, I should just type it in. There we go. Okay, so there you are. You are a temporary co-host.
Okay.
Make sure, Shalva, that you've shared that before you go in to share the screen, you clicked share audio as well. I always forget that when I share. Did you do that?
Does it not give you the option to do that if you have headphones in?
So when click share screen, and then it shows you share on the bottom left of the screen that you're going to get.
Yes.
Computer sound. Click on that.
Doesn't work.
Do you have
I know
that?
it's supposed to, so yeah, it's not. The option doesn't show up right now. So does it not show up if you have headphones in?
It's hard to hear you because you're breaking up.
With her audio, yeah.
Can someone else in your group share it then? It's not working.
Shalva, it might work if you take out headphones.
Oh.
I can decipher her speech.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that might be it. Good point.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, hang on.
If everyone else is going to be a host, can just make sure that your video is ready to play on your computer. So that way, when it's your turn, hopefully you'll be able to move to your screen quickly.
You see, it's not showing up. Might do just see if it just will share the audio.
You want to just give it a try? Maybe the audio will work.
Should see if it works.
Yeah.
Should I see if
Yeah, just try it and let's see if it works.
You have no audio.
Yeah, the audio is not working. Do you want to meanwhile also show, like maybe email it to me and then I can try it on my screen while maybe somebody else goes meanwhile, just in case? Backup plan? All right, why don't we move on to the next scene and then we'll go back to Buria. Okay, is that okay? Okay, so alphabetically the next scene is Frisch.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna share.
Okay, so I need to co-host you. Hold on, let me unco-host Shalva. Okay, and let's co-host Miss Burstein. Okay. Okay, so Miss Burstein, when you click on your share screen, on the bottom left, is your screen allowing you to click share audio?
It doesn't say share audio. It just gives me like the options of screens to share, but there's nothing that indicates, there's no icon that says share audio. Let me see. Yeah, there's nothing that says share audio, but
Okay, well, let's give it a try. If we have to have you guys quickly email them to me and I'll share them, then we might have to do that. I don't know why.
so okay, so I should try to share the
Yeah, try it, and if it doesn't, if the audio doesn't work, then we'll go to plan B.
got it. Let's see.
Oh no, Spirit, whither wander you? Over.
Can you hear the audio?
Yes, we heard it. So you can
Oh,
make a
okay,
big
great.
screen.
Excellent.
This is so cute.
Spirit, whither wander you? Over hill, over dale, through bush, through briar, over park, over pale, through flood, through fire,
I do wander everywhere, swifter than the moon's sphere, and I serve the fairy queen to do her orbs upon the green. Cowslips tall her pensioners be, in their gold coats, soft you see. Those be rubies, fairy favors, in those freckles look their favors. I must go seek some dewdrops here and hang a pearl in every cowslip's ear. Farewell, thou lawless spirits, all be gone. Our queen and all our elves, come here anon. The king doth keep his revels here tonight. Take heed the queen come not within his sight, for Oberon is passing fell and wrath, because that she, as her attendant, hath a lovely boy stolen from an Indian king. She never had so sweet a changeling. Jealous Oberon would have the child, knight of his train to trace the forest wild. But she, perforce, withhold the loved boy, crown him with flowers, and make him all her joy. And now they never meet, in grove or green, by fountains clear or spangled starlight sheen, but they do swear, and all their elves for fear creep into acorn cups and hide them there. Either mistake your shape and making quite, or else you are that shrewd and knavish sprite called Robin Goodfellow. Are not you he that frights the maidens of the villagry? Skim milk and sometimes labor in the kern, and bootless make the breathless housewife turn, and sometimes make the drink to bear no farm, with sweet night wanderers laughing at their harm. Those that hobgoblin call you and speak up, you do their work, and they shall just as are not you. Thou speak'st aright. I am that merry wanderer of the night. I jest to Oberon and make him smile when I a fat and beam-fed horse beguile, saying likeness of a filly foal, and sometimes look I in a gospel, very likeness of a roasted crab. And when she drinks against her lips, I bob, and on her withered dewlap pour the ale. Telling the saddest tale sometimes, for three who stole mistaken me. Then slip I from her bob, and down topples she, and Taylor cries and falls into a cough. And then the whole choir holds their hips and laughs, and waxes in her mirth, and needs to swear a merrier out. There, in fairy. Here comes Oberon, and here my mistress. With it you are gone.
Ill met by moonlight, proud Titania.
What? Jealous Oberon. Very? Skip hence. I have forsworn his bed and company.
Very rash wanton, and not I thy lord.
Then I must be thy lady, but I know thou hast stolen away fairy land, and in the shape of Corin sat all day, playing on pipes of corn and versing love. Moors Felida, why art thou here, come to the furthest step of India? But forsooth, that bouncing Amazon is thy bumpkin mistress, and your warrior love to feast must be wedded, and you come to give their red joy and prosperity.
How canst thou, thus for shame, Titania, glance at my credit with Hippolyta, knowing I know thy love to Theseus? Didst thou not lead him through the glimmering night from Perigenia, whom you ravished, and make him with fair eagle break his faith, with Ariadne and Antiopa?
These are the forgeries of jealousy, and never, since the middle summer spring, met we on hill, in dale, forest, or mead, by paved fountain, or by rushy brook, or in the meet margin of the sea, to dance our ringlets to the whistling wind. But with thy brawls, do thou hast served us sword. Therefore, the wind's piping to us in vain, as in revenge, sucked up from the sea. Contagious fogs, which falling in the land, make every pelt over so proud, that they have overborne their continent. The ox hath therefore stretched his yoke in vain, the plowman lost his foot, and the green corn hath rotted ere. The fold stands empty in the drowned field. The crows are fattened with the marine flock. The nine men's moors is filled with mud, and the quaint maidens in the wanton green for lack of tread are indistinguishable. The human mortals want their winter here, but no night now to him our carol blessed. Therefore, the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, watches all the air. Their mad disease do bound. And through this distemperature, we see the season's altar. Hoary-headed frost bar in the pressed lap of the fresh crimson rose. And an old hind, thin and icy crown, an odorous chapel, sweet summer buds, is as in mockery set. Spring, the summer, the child, the autumn, the angry winter change their wonted liveries, and the maids whirl by their increased down to which is which. And by these same parts of the wheels comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are the parents and original.
You amend it then? It lies in you. Why should Titania cross her Oberon? I do but beg a little changeling boy to be my henchman.
Your heart of rest. The fairyland by some child. Mother was a votress of my order, and in the spiced Indian air by night, full often has she gossiped by my side. sat with me on empty ghost stands, marking the embarked traders in the flood, when we have laughed to see the sails conceive and grow big bellied to want to wind, which she, with pretty and with swimming gait following, her womb and rich with my own squire would imitate, and sail upon the land, to fetch me trifles and return again, as from a voyage rich with merchandise. But she, being mortal, of that voyage did die, and for her sake do I rear Roy, and for her sake I will not part with him.
How long within this wood intend you stay?
Perchance till after Casey's wedding day. If you will patiently dance in our round and see our moonlight bubbles, go with us. Not shun me, and I will spare your haunts.
Give me that boy, and I will go with you.
Not for thy fairy kingdom. Fairy the way, shall tie down right if I longer stay.
Well, go thy way. Thou shalt not from this grove till I torment thee for this injury. Gentle puck, come hither. Thou rememberest, since once I sat upon a promontory and heard a mermaid on a dolphin's back, uttering such dulcet and harmonious breath that the rude sea grew civil at her song, and certain stars shot madly from their spheres into the sea-made music. I remember the very time I saw, but thou couldst not, flying between the cold moon and the earth, Cupid all armed, certain aim took at a fair vessel thrown by the west, and loosed his love shaft smartly from his bow as it should pierce 100,000 hearts, that I might see young Cupid's fiery shaft quenched in the cast beams of the watery moon. And the imperial wilderness passed on, and maiden meditation stands free. Yet marked I where the bolt of Cupid fell. It fell upon a little western flower, before milk white, now purple with love's wound, and maidens call it love in idleness. Fetch me that flower, the herb I should be one. The juice of it on sleeping eyelids laid will make man or woman madly dote upon the next live creature that it sees. Fetch me this herb, and be thou here again, ere the Leviathan can swim a league.
I'll put a girdle round the earth in 40 minutes.
Having once this juice, I walked to Tanya when she was asleep, and dropped the liquor of it in her eye. The next thing then she waking looks upon, be it on lion, bear, or wolf, or bull, on meddling monkey, or on busy egg, she shall pursue it with the soul of love. And ere I take this charm from off her sight, as I can take it with another herb, I'll make her render up her page to me. Who comes here? I am invisible, and I will overhear their conference.
I love thee not, therefore pursue me not. Where is thy fair and fair Hermia? The one, a flight, the other, flight me. Thou told me they were stolen onto this wood, and here I am, and woe within this wood, because I cannot meet my Hermia. Hence, get thee gone, and follow me no more.
You draw me, hard-hearted adamant, but yet you draw not iron, for my heart is true as steel. Leave you your power to draw, and I shall have no power to follow you.
Do I entice you? Do I speak you fair? Or rather, do I not in plainest truth tell you I do not, nor I cannot love you?
And even for that do I love you the more. I am your spaniel, and Demetrius, the more you beat me, I will fawn on you. Use me but as your spaniel. Spurn me, strike me, neglect me, lose me. Only give me leave unworthy as I am to follow you. What words or place can I beg in your love, and yet a place of high respect with me than to be used as you use your dog?
I'm not too much the hatred of my spirit, for I am sick when I do look on thee.
I am sick when I look not on you.
You do impeach your modesty too much to leave the city and commit yourself into the hands of one that loves you not, to trust the opportunity of night and the ill counsel of the senseless face rich your virginity.
Your virtue is my privilege for that. There's not night when I see your face. Therefore think I am not in the night, nor that this would lack worlds of company. For you and my respect are all the world. Then how can it be said that I am alone, when all the world is here to look on me?
I'll run from thee and hide me in the brakes and leave thee to the mercy of wild beasts.
The wildness hath not such a heart as you. Run when you will, the story shall be changed. Apollo flies and Daphne holds the chase. The dove pursues the griffin. Mad high makes speed to catch the tiger. Foolish speed when cowardice pursues and valor flies.
I'll not say thy questions. Let me go. Or, if thou follow me, do not believe that I
There'd be mischief in the wood. Aye, in the temple, in the town, in the field, they do me mischief. Behind Demetrius runs do set a scandal upon my sex. I cannot fight for love as men may do. We should be wood, and we're not made to woo. I'll follow thee and make a heaven of hell to tie upon the hand I love so well.
Fare thee well, nymph. Ere you do leave this grove, thou shalt fly him, and he shall seek thy love. Hast thou the flower there? Welcome, wanderer.
Aye, there it is.
I pray thee, give it me. I know a bank with a wild thyme blows, where oxlet and the nodding violet grow. Quite over canopy with luscious woodbine, sweet musk roses, and eglantine. There sleeps Titania, sometime of the night, lulled in these flowers, dances, and delight. And there the snake throws her enameled skin, weave wide enough to wrap a fairy in. And with the juice of it, I'll streak her eyes and make her full of hateful fantasies. Seek thou some of it, and seek through this grove. A sweet Athenian lady is in love with a disdainful youth. Anoint his eyes, but when the next thing he espied may be the lady. Thou shalt know the man by the Athenian garments he has on. Affect it with some care, that he may prove more fond on her than she upon her love. And look thou, meet me ere the first cock crow.
Fear not, my lord, your servant shall do so.
Yeah, what just happened? Okay, I think. I'm not sure if the video got cut off a little bit, but all right.
Yeah.
And now you want us to share the director?
Yes,
Okay.
please. Yes.
Okay, so Molly Lopkin is our director, and she has a video for us. So I'm going to share that. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Sorry, 1 second.
Can you make it louder?
Let me see, 1 second. I'm not sure if it goes any louder. Let's see. I think that might be the loudest that it can go. Let's see. Is it really not audible?
It's quiet.
Okay.
Can you raise that? I don't know if it works to raise the volume on your own device.
Yeah, I'm at the max on my device. So
if the volume isn't working, I have a recording of what I said.
You want to just play it through your own window, Molly, and then we can watch that video like at the same time. Would that work?
I could try to do that. I have 4 recordings. They all go in a row, so we can try.
All right. So why don't you just like let it, Miss Burst, you know when to stop and start, so you're synchronized as best you can.
All right. So let's begin.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Molly Lopkin, and I'll be presenting the first director's vision. Firstly, anytime that you see yellow dots in the presentation, that indicates magic, which on stage would have been indicated by the actor's hand motions. We start off with the chairs in disarray. Then Fairy comes in and with a sigh, starts using magic to set them up. Puck walks by and backtracks when he notices Fairy and stalks her into starting up a conversation. As they talk, Fairy tries to impress Puck with her cool magic skills and tell him that he should leave because the Queen is coming here. Puck's having none of that, kicks the chair over into a corner and starts casting an illusion, using the chairs as kind of a canopy to show where the illusion is. He tells Fairy about Oberon and Tanya's fight, using tableaus. At this point, Fairy start to figure out who Puck is and gets increasingly more and more excited as they ask, "Is that really you?" Until Puck finally says, "Yes, first stop, smacks Fairy in the face, and she falls down from off her chair, and he starts regaling her with his stories. At this point, Titania and Oberon enter. Oberon has Sprite in his train, and Titania brings Fairy into hers. As they argue, they sit down and have Fairy and Sprite attend to them, and anytime that Oberon makes a good diss at Titania, he and Puck do a little snap because they're kind of close. Then Titania starts on her long monologue, and Oberon and his gang move over to a different chair, that way they don't need to deal with her. She is having none of being ignored, so she uses her magic to possess Fairy and Sprite into acting out what she's saying. They fall and rise like the fog, they become the plowman and the ox. But Oberon still isn't paying attention, so she decides to use her magic to possess Puck, which Oberon is having none of. So they end up doing this magical tug-of-war over Puck, as Fairy and Sprite in the corner make sure each other are okay after being possessed. Titania wins, and she takes the 3 lesser fairies and makes them act out in poses the different seasons that she's talking about. She and Oberon continue arguing as the lesser fairies in the corner make sure each other are okay. And as she launches into her second long monologue, Puck starts imitating her and acting out what she's doing in a funny way. Fairy and Sprite almost give themselves away by laughing, but somehow they manage to get their act together anytime that Titania looks at them, and she doesn't really ever quite realize what's going on behind her back. With one final bit of verbal sparring, Titania and her train exit. Oberon is so upset that he sort of lost this fight that he knocks over a chair, which Puck sets up as he starts telling him about the magical flower. Puck leaves with another snap, and as Oberon starts talking about the flower's magical properties, right when he's mentioning the different animals, Demetrius walks by, looking for someone. Oberon makes himself invisible, just as Demetrius comes back with Helena on his foot. He ignores her, she pleads with him, and he tries to leave and tells her that it would be a bad idea to follow him. Helena, though, is not giving up that easily, and she turns the 2 middle chairs around together and gives one little pat, so that way he would come and sit next to her. But Demetrius would rather sit in a different chair, the one where Oberon is sitting, invisible. So Oberon uses some magic to make sure that Demetrius won't want to sit there. He goes over to where Helena is, she leans in for a kiss, and he boops her on the nose and tries to leave. But she grabs him into a hug and holds him close. He shakes out of it, dumps her off her chair, and leaves, and she pursues. Puck comes back with the magical flower and takes his sweet time giving it to Oberon, pretending it's in Oberon's ears, pretending that it's up his sleeve, until eventually Oberon gets sick of it and just grabs the flower. He casts an illusion similar to what Puck did in the beginning, and shows what will happen to Titania when she takes the flower. And to Helena and Demetrius. Demetrius comes in and hides when he sees Helena looking for him, but after the magic will be applied, he spins out of his hiding place and pursues her off. Like before, the illusion ends as the 2 chairs being raised to make the canopy bang down, and with another snap, Puck leaves, and Oberon is left to survey his kingdom and gloat. He leaves, turning the 2 chairs he was standing on their sides, and we're back to where we began, as if the whole thing has just always been an illusion in the woods.
Right. Thanks, Molly.
That was really great. Judges, I don't know if you have any feedback you want to share with Frisch, but we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I the restrictions of this virus, making it at first that we're with the fairies and everything, and then all of a sudden we have the actresses portraying the parts. It was just a nice use of multi-mediums.
Yeah.
It wasn't true stop action, but it was really, a good way to represent what you were doing. And it was fun. It was just fun watching all the little magical elements happen. And then all of a sudden, humans. Good job. I really enjoyed the different take on it.
Yeah, Arlie?
I loved your concept. I feel like sometimes there's this impulse to, when you're performing Shakespeare, feel like you have to explain things down to your audience. But I feel like your concept really used the existing magic of the play to make those ideas clear, which is really, really great to see.
I really liked, again, I really liked the use of the cartoons. I thought that was absolutely ingenious. And I loved the fact that, once again, how it flipped and suddenly we were into another different realm. I love the use of the background screen and the actor's place against that. I'm a particular hound of listening to the text to make sure the storytelling is actually clear. I love the speed at which you were going, but sometime in the speed, I lost some of the actual clarity of exactly what was being told. And that is key to these first scenes in this play, that if that clarity is not there, the audience itself does not know where you're going to go. But I thought the overall idea of your concept and how you executed was absolutely spot on. Very good work.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I was going to make that same note about the audio. It's hard. It's like something that's hard for us as theater artists to adapt to. But when you're speaking through a microphone, you have to find that balance where you're not too soft that you're bleeding out, but you're not too loud that the sound gets kind of crunchy and almost muffles itself. But other than that, I thought it was a fantastic representation and a really, really well executed job. And I love the artwork. And Molly, I loved your narration of your stage directions. And overall, I was really, really impressed.
Okay. And then Sabrina, you want to say?
Yeah, and even with the audio being crazy, having it virtually and everything, even with that, you can tell with the voice acting and our live actors that you all commanded the language very well. You can tell that you guys fully understand what you are saying and you're taking ownership of it with the inflection, with hitting certain words that are very important. With the iambic pentameter, with our fairies, you could hear that playfulness, that dee-dum, 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 that rhythm. So you guys can play with that even more if you were to do this again. So really, really great job with that, you guys.
Great job.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Frisch. That was a great way to start us off tonight. Just want to be respectful to SAR needing to leave at 9. So we're going to go to SAR next, even though it is not in alphabetical order. And then we'll head back to Bruria, who now emailed me. That's okay.
Hi, I'm going to share the video. So can you make me the co-host, please?
Yes.
Thanks.
Hopefully it will work. Oh, is that Mickey?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's give that a go.
Is this working?
Yeah, we can hear it. We hear something.
Can you see anything? Is this working?
There's some kind of sound interference going on.
You can't hear the sound? Can you guys hear the sound?
There was like a lot of loud noise, like you were outside in the middle of the subway.
There was feedback.
It was feedback, apparently.
Okay, let me try again. Maybe it'll work better this time.
All right.
This year has been different for many reasons. This was the first year that I've been student director. This was the first year that our team has decided to take a more zany and lighthearted approach to our scene. This is the first year we're performing in this sort of format. This year has a lot of firsts. So we sort of wanted to take you behind the scenes and show you what it was like to work on our scene, what we wanted our scene to be like, what character work we've done, and we wanted to put this into a creative format like this video. So let's take a little look at all of our characters and performers and say hi.
Well, hello there. My name is Fairy. I'm a wholesome spirit who is very loyal to her mistress, Queen Titania. I just want to keep the forest safe and pure, and I am not amused by Puck's mean-spirited and juvenile attempts at humor.
My name is Oberon. I am strong, stubborn, and self-assured, and I go after what I want. Which is usually what my wife, the queen, has. I like to take things away from her.
Hello, my name is Titania. I pride myself on being good and righteous and helping those whom I love around me. However, I'm known to get into some arguments with that frustrating, philandering husband of mine.
Helena and Demetrius were unavailable for this presentation because they were chasing each other all across the forest.
Throughout A Midsummer's Night's Dream Act 2, Scene 1, these characters interact in intriguing, dynamic, and comedic ways. In order to encapsulate the magic of the chemistry between these characters, we were going to use different heights to indicate power dynamics and power structures. We were also going to make great use of physical comedy. For example, when Helena follows Demetrius like a lovesick puppy, we actually wanted to show her looking like a puppy crawling on her hands and knees. Throughout the latter half of the scene, we were also going to use physical comedy involving our chairs to show Demetrius trying to run away and thwart Helena's plans of following him.
We were also going to use a full cast illustrative dance using the folding chairs to capture the changes in the natural world described in Titania's "These are the forgeries of jealousy" speech.
I have something to say. I have something to say to her.
I have something to say. I want to say something.
Clearly, there's a lot going on here between Barry, Helena, Titania, Puck, Demetrius, and Oberon, and all of them have lots to say to each other. We're going to illustrate this by grouping everyone into their primary partnerships. When certain partners were the focal point of the scene, other characters would just occasionally cross up stage in the background to indicate that their story didn't end just because their partnership wasn't center stage. This also lent to the atmosphere of being in the woods in the thicket of complicatedness. We're going to use this to create dynamic scenes involving the cast.
I'm Emma, and I play Fairy. I really enjoyed working on this scene with Ms. Medved and my fellow actors. My favorite part was probably working in creative ways to portray the relationships between all the characters, and I can't wait to see how different groups interpreted the scene in their own ways.
I'm Josh. I play Puck, also known as Robin. I just want to thank Miss Medved for helping out the entire time. I also want to thank Mickey, also as Clementine, as our student director, who did absolutely amazing with the choreography and with just generally leading everybody in the cast towards her vision. And I am so sad that it wasn't able to be fulfilled. And it was all in all amazing.
Hi, I'm Mickey, and I play Oberon, and I'm also the student director for Envision Shakespeare this year. I really wanted to just say thank you to everyone in the cast. They worked super hard on their lines, and they worked really hard on having a great spirit throughout all of rehearsals. And it was just really great to work with them because they're such great teammates. And I also wanted to say thank you to Ms. Medved for being a great faculty advisor and for helping everyone with all of this craziness and for just being there every single step of the way to ensure we have a great scene.
I'm Nava and I play Titania. I had such an amazing time working on Envision Shakespeare this year with our amazing faculty advisor, Miss Medved, and our student director, Mickey Kleinman. And I'm going to miss working on it with you guys, and I'm so sad that we never got to present it. I really loved exploring the intricacies of Shakespeare's language and trying to work out a scene together.
So that was just a sort of like behind the scenes look, because I think the most special part about our team is the teammates and like the behind the scene love for one another and all the hard work that we put in. So I really wanted to emphasize that in our video, because I think, at least to me, one of the more important parts of being in Envision Shakespeare is being with people who also love Shakespeare and people who are going to put in work and are just the best teammates ever. So I just have really like 2 minutes of things to say in the sort of director sense. So for Envision Shakespeare, for the chairs that we have, we were going to use them for a few things. One of them was between Helena and Demetrius, when they're sort of trying to, you know, like get away from each other, like come close to me, like we're going to use it in that sort of sense. In the Forgeries of Jealousy speech, they were also going to be used as part of the choreography. When Puck was talking to Barry, he was, you know, going to be bouncing around and using it sort of as like tree stumps and part of the forest. And then some behind the scenes work. We worked a lot on character work and trying to distinguish ourselves through physical characterization. And we focused a lot on character dynamics and character relationships. We worked on voices. Puck had a really great voice, which was, I wish you guys could see. And then in terms of the text, for the Forgeries of Jealousy speech, Titania was going to sort of use her magical powers to, you know, bring the forest alive with this dance and add everyone in the cast. And it was just going to be a display of her magical abilities. And for Oberon's speech at the end, we were thinking of adding it to a tune a little bit to sort of even show like the trance that Oberon is in when he's describing what he's going to do to Titania. And it's sort of trance-like, and that's what we have. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Mickey. That was amazing. I love how you guys shared your thoughts in your scene. Nancy, do you want to moderate the commentaries?
Sure. Do the judges have anything to say? That was just, you know, I really liked the way you guys had the characters talking. Actually, I thought that was really nice. I don't know if the judges have anything to say.
I actually love the kind of introduction of the characters. I particularly like the first fairy, Flowers. I thought that was actually spot on. I love that. I wish I could have seen the end where Oberon was actually using music to tell his tale, because that's a big part of this play, and it's also a big part of how Shakespeare was using music. And we were going to do a workshop that kind of reflected the use of music that he used and how it was linked to the popular songs that were being sung during the time period. And so the audience, the groundlings in the audience would have recognized automatically what that part of the storytelling was happening. So I think that would have been a really lovely concept to have inside of what you were actually doing.
I love that you guys highlighted the group effort that it was, and how everyone kind of put their own contributions into the whole. And I thought it was really, really special that you kind of highlighted the backstage relationships, because I think that that's something that's also really, really important and unique to theater as an art form.
Great. Yeah, Arlie?
No, we were talking a bit earlier about how important just video skills are going to become in this climate. But not only was your editing really smooth and clear, but the way the video was organized really displayed a full understanding of the play as a whole and the structure, which was really cool to see.
Okay. Okay, so well, I think we're gonna, oh yeah, go ahead, Stuart, if you want to say.
Yeah, just, I love the way that you described away Helena and Dimitri. I just thought that was like, oh, they were off in the woods and just having fun. And it just continued the levity of what was going on. So it was a nicely produced piece.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great job. Okay, are we gonna move on to Berea? Rebecca, do you have their?
I can share it. So I see, Shalva, you have like, it says fast and normal. Which one do you want me to use?
Well, do you have the time for normal one for 15 minutes?
Yeah, I can do, it just says normal full performance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just cue it up and then I will share my screen. Okay, there we are. Okay, share my screen, computer sound. Okay. All right. And this is Berea, right? Yeah.
Do, 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 do. Hear ye, hear ye. I have royal orders. In this very royal scroll, it says that you, that's you, the audience, must listen to a rendition of William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Mare. Dream. Dream? A Midsummer Night's Dream. Have you even read this scene? Looks like a nightmare to me.
What are you talking about? I love a good love triangle.
Or like a tragic love dodecahedron.
You clearly don't understand the scene. You go sit in the audience and I will finish the introduction. So now, without further ado, we introduce to you Berea's rendition of William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 1, Scene 2.
Act 2, Scene 1!
Oh, shoo.
How now, spirit? Whither wander you?
Over hill, over dale, through brush, through fire, over park, over pale, through flood, through fire. I do wander everywhere, swift in the moon's sphere, and I serve the fairy queen. To do her orbs upon the green, the cowslips tall her pensioners be, in their gold coat spots you see, those beauties, fairy favors. In those freckles live their savors. I must go seek some dewdrops here, and hang a pearl in every cowslip's ear. Farewell, thou love of spirits, all be gone. Our queen and all her elves come here anon.
The king doth keep his revels here tonight. Take heed the queen come not within his sight. For Oberon is passing fell in wrath, because that she as her attendant hath. Yes. A lovely boy stolen from an Indian king. She never had so sweet a changeling. And jealous Oberon would have the child, knight of his train to trace the forest wild. But she, perforce, withholds the loved boy, crowns him with flowers and makes him all her joy. And now they never meet in grove or green, by fountain clear or spangled starlight sheen. Yet they do square that all their elves for fear creep into acorn cups and hide them there.
Either I mistake your shape and making quite, or else you are that shrewd and knavish sprite called Robin Goodfellow. Are not you he that frights the maidens of the villagery? Skim milk and sometimes labor in the corner. And bootless makes the breathless housewife turn. And sometimes make the drink to Barrow Barn, mislead night wanderers, laughing at their harm. Those that hobgoblin call you and sweet puck, you do their work and they shall have good luck. Are not you he?
Thou speakest aright. I am that merry wanderer of the night. I jest to Oberon and make him smile, when I fat and being fed horse beguiled, neighing in the likeness of a filly foal. And sometime lurk I in a gossip's bowl, in the very likeness of a roasted crab. Then when she drinks, against her lips I bob, and on her withered dewlap pour the ale. The wisest aunt telling the saddest tale, sometime for a 3-foot stool mistaketh me. Then slip I from her bum, down topples she, and Taylor rise and falls into a cup, and the whole choir hold their hips and laugh. it there. But real fairy, here comes Oberon.
And here my mistress, would that he were gone.
Ill met by moonlight, proud Titania.
What, jealous Oberon? Fairies, skip hence. I've forsworn his bed and company.
Tarry rash wanted, am not I thy lord?
Then I must be thy lady. But I know, when thou wast stolen away from fairyland in the shape of corn, sat all day playing on pipes of corn and bursting love to amorous Phillida. Why art thou here? Come from the farthest step of India, but that forsooth the bouncing Amazon, your buskin mistress and your warrior love to Theseus must be weighed, and you come to give their bed joy and prosperity.
How canst thou this for shame, Titania? Glance at my credit with Hippolyta, knowing I know thy love to Theseus. Didst thou not lead him through the glimmering night from Perigenia, whom he ravished, and make him with fair Agli break his faith with Ariadne and Antiopa?
These are the forgeries of jealousy. And never, since the middle of summer spring, met we on hill, in dale, forest or mead, by paved fountain or by rushy brook, or in the beach margin of the sea, to dance our ringlets to the whistling wind. But with thy brawls, thou hast disturbed our sport.
Therefore the winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, have sucked up from the sea contagious fogs, which falling in the land have ever pelting river made so proud that they have overborne their continents. The ox hath therefore stretched his yoke in vain, the plowman's lost his sweat, and the green corn hath rotted ere his youth attained a beard.
The fold stands empty in the drowned field, and crows are fatted with the murmuring flock. 9 men's morse is filled up with mud, and the quaint mazes in the wanton green for lack of tread are undistinguishable. The human mortals want their winter here. No night is now with him or Carol blessed.
Sorry.
Before noon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air, their rheumatic diseases do abound. And through this distemperature we see the seasons alter. Hoary-headed frosts fall in the fresh lap of the crimson rose, and on old Time's thin and icy crown, an odorous chaplet of sweet summer buds is, as in mockery, set. The spring, the summer, the childing autumn, angry winter change their wonted liveries, and the May's world by their increase now knows not which is which. And this same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are their parents and original.
Do you amend it then? It lies in you. Why should Titania cross her Oberon? I do but beg a little changeling boy to be my henchman.
Set your heart at rest. The fairyland buys not the child of me. His mother was a votaress of my order. And in the spiced Indian air by night, full often has she gossiped by my side and sat with me on Neptune's yellow sands, marking the embarked traders on the flood. When we'd laugh to see the sails conceive and grow big-bellied with the wanton wind, which she, with pretty and with swimming gait following, her womb then rich with my young squire, would imitate and sail upon the land to fetch me trifles and return again as from a voyage, rich with merchandise. But she, being mortal, of that boy did die. And for her sake do I rear up her boy, and for her sake I will not part with him.
How long within this wood intend you stay?
Perchance till after Theseus' wedding day. If you will patiently dance in our round and see our moonlight revels, go with us. If not, shun me and I will spare your haunts.
Give me that boy and I will go with thee.
Not for thy fairy kingdom. Fairies, away. We shall chide downright if I longer stay.
Well, go thy way. Thou shalt not from this grove till I torment thee for this injury.
My gentle Puck, come hither. Thou rememberest, since once I sat upon a promontory, and heard a mermaid on a dolphin's back uttering such dulcet and harmonious breath that the rude sea grew civil, and certain stars shot madly from their spheres to hear the sea maid's music.
I remember.
That very time I saw, but thou couldst not, flying between the cold moon and the earth, Cupid, all armed, a certain aim he took at a fair vestal throned by the west, and loosed his love shaft smartly from his bow, as it should pierce 100,000 hearts. Yet I might see on Cupid's fiery shaft, quenched in the chaste beams of the watery moon, an imperial votarist passed on and made a meditation fancy-free. Yet marked I where the bolt of Cupid fell. Fell upon a little western flower. Before milked white, now purple with love's wound, and maidens call it love and idleness. Fetch me that flower, the herb I shewed thee once. The juice of it on sleeping eyelids laid will make man or woman madly dote upon the next live creature it sees. Fetch me that flower, and be thou here again ere the Leviathan can swim a league.
I'll put a girdle round about the earth in 40 minutes.
Having once this juice, I'll watch Titania when she is asleep, and drop the liquor of it in her eyes. Blink. The next thing she then waking looks upon, being on lion, bear, or wolf, or bull, on meddling monkey, or on busy ape, she shall pursue it with the soul of love. And in her take this charm from off her sight, as I can with another herb, I'll make her render up her page to me. But who comes here? I am invisible. And I will overhear their conference.
I love thee not, therefore pursue me not. Where is Lysander, and fair Hermia? One I'll stay, other stay in peace. Thou toldst me they were stolen onto this wood, and here am I enclosed in this wood because I cannot meet my Hermia. Hence, get thee gone and follow me no more.
You draw me, you hard-hearted adamant, and you draw not iron. For my heart is true as steel. Leave you your power to draw, and I shall have no power to follow you.
Do I entice you? Do I speak you fair? Or rather, do I not in plainest truth tell you I do not, nor I cannot love you?
And even for that, do I love you the more? I am your spaniel, and Demetrius, the more you beat me, I will fawn on you. Use me but as your spaniel. Spurn me, strike me, neglect me, lose me. Only give me leave, unworthy as I am, to follow you. What worse place can I beg in your love, and yet a place of high respect with me than to be used as you use your dog.
Of my spirit, for I am sick when I do look at
And I am sick when I look not on
you. You impeach your modesty too much. To leave the city and commit yourself into the hands of one that loves you not. To trust the opportunity of night and the ill counsel of a deserved place with the rich worth of your virginity.
Your virtue is my privilege. For that, It is not night when I do see your face. Therefore, I think I am not in the night, nor doth this wood lack worlds of company. For you, in my respect, are all the worlds. Then how can it be said, I am alone, when all the world is here to look on me?
I'll run from thee and hide me in the brakes and leave thee to the mercy of wild beasts.
The wildest hath not such a heart as you. Run when you will. The story shall be changed. Apollo flies and Daphne holds the chase. The dove pursues the griffin. The mild hind makes speed to catch the tiger. Bootless speed, when cowardice pursues and valor fly.
I will not stay thy questions. Let me go. Or, if thou shalt follow me, do not believe that I shall do thee mischief in the woods.
I, in the temple, in the town, in the field, you do me mischief. Fie, Demetrius! Your wrongs do set a scandal on my sex. We cannot fight for love, as men may do. We should be wooed. We're not made to woo. I'll follow thee to make a heaven of hell, to die upon the hand I love so well.
Fare thee well, nymph. Ere you do leave this grove, thou shalt fly him, he shall seek thy love. Hast thou slaughter there? Welcome, wanderer. There it is. I pray thee, give it me. I know bank where the wild thyme blows, where oxlips and the nodding violet grows, quite over canopied with luscious woodbine, with sweet rusk roses and with eglantine. There sleeps Titania, some time of the night, lulled in these flowers with dances and delight. And there a snake throws her enameled skin, weed wide enough to wrap a fairy in. And with the juice of this, will streak her eyes and make her full of hateful fantasies. Take thou some of it, and seek through this grove. The sweet Athenian lady is in love with the disdainful youth. Anoint his eyes, but do it so the next thing he espies may be the lady. Thou shalt know the man by the Athenian garments he hath on. Affect it with some care, that he may prove more fond of she than he upon her love. And look thou meet me here ere the first cock crow.
Fear not, my lord. Your servant shall do so.
Wow.
Wow, that was so creative.
Extremely creative. Wow. Okay, judges, let's hear a few comments on Maria.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm going to, the first thing I wrote down is that we have some really budding young filmmakers here. There is a movie called Prospero's Books that uses some of the same technique of immersing of scenes from different clips and the overlay of things like that, which is really dynamic to see. And I was very excited about that. In the time period that we are in, that these young, beautiful minds are recognizing where we are and utilizing it to the absolute perfect degree to utilize brilliant storytelling. I must congratulate them on that. This particular school I remember quite well. You are always, always very good at your text. It is always very clear. What I want you to do, and I'm going to challenge you to do this, is if I come back, I'm going to make sure that you continue to actually add in the actual emotional meaning behind the clarity of your text. Your text is always clear. You always lean too far from me toward the poetry and not enough on the actual emotional truth behind what is being said. And it's particularly hard for this to happen in a very early Shakespeare play. And Midsummer is that, and people always rely a great deal on the kind of natural rhythm of Shakespeare when he was learning to do it. And that kind of defeats some of the actual truth of the storytelling and the emotional journey that you're actually going on. So when you do this again, and I'm sure you will do so, when you continue to work on these pieces, I want to make sure that you always add that into how you actually do it, that you're actually adding in the emotional truth behind the clarity of your text. And then everything will have an extra level of finesse that you already have. So that's what I would say for you.
Yes, yeah, Stuart.
I agree with him. But hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It was extremely clear, but the emotional, as he mentioned, it needed that little bit more, but I was blown away by the use of the fade in and fade outs and the cross screens. You know, again, it adds another level that when somebody asked earlier in the Q&A is, what is the future of theater going to be like? And this is part of it, I think. May I make a suggestion? Okay. Stand still a little bit more. The beauty of the words and the emotional aspects of it, I think, were too, get hidden by the too much action sometimes. But I mean, I loved it. And that would be the only thing that if, I could say that it was just like would even take it, 2 steps above.
Well, let's just hear from one judge, just for the interest of time. So I don't know, Serena, if you want to, we didn't hear from you last time. So, sorry, just unmute, yeah.
I did really just want to congratulate the actors on their great ensemble work. Even from a distance, you guys managed to be so put together. All of your movements went together, and you can tell that that's because that when you guys were rehearsing together, that you were always listening and working really well together. So I just want to congratulate you guys on that.
I'm really amazed that you guys were able to, I don't quite understand how video works. I'm not like, I don't know how to make it too well. And however you did that, that was really blew me away. So also, that was great. Okay. So thank you so much, Maria. Who do we have next? Rebecca. We have.
See, we're up to Golda Ak.
Yeah, Golda Ak. Okay.
All right, who from Golda Ak has your video, or are you doing it live?
I'm gonna be doing the video.
So you want to be able to share?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hopefully it will work for you, Izzy.
So actually, as a group, we didn't actually know that today was the day. So we don't actually have a finished product we only have a very small clip of the finished thing. So instead, I'm going to play that clip, but first I'm going to kind of explain our initial concept and try to capture the essence of the character that our actors portrayed. But I'm going to do my best. And then I'm going to explain kind of how we changed and adapted to different events. Yeah. So initially, we had overall we had a very strong focus on character dynamic as opposed to choreography. So in the beginning, we have Fairy getting a clearing ready for Titania to appear by straightening some chairs because she's incredibly devoted to Titania. She will do anything, even if it means cleaning up a dirty forest for her. And then Puck shows up and starts pushing the chairs around and bothering Fairy. And as Puck explains this situation between Titania and Oberon to Fairy, she's getting increasingly annoyed because this really annoying random person is here just messing up her clear devotion to her mistress and telling her stuff that she already knows, and she's just getting very angry. And then she realizes who Puck is, and she thinks it's very funny, but she's still very annoyed that he's there. But all of a sudden, as she hears Titania and Oberon approach, she becomes very nervous. And so then Titania and Oberon enter, Titania with her fairy entourage. Their interactions are initially very rehearsed seeming. You know, it's very clear that they've had conversations like this one before, where Oberon is very whiny and Titania is like, oh my God, you're such a jerk. And this time, though, it quickly escalates past what everyone's used to. And the fairies especially grow very scared of the anger between these two. They hide behind chairs, they shove past each other to get away from the dangerous power that these two fairies have. They hide, only the initial fairy is brave enough to even stand close to Titania, where the other ones just cower. Oberon eventually pushes Titania too far, and she almost loses her control, but she remembers that she's a queen, she's better than this jerk, and she leaves, taking her very relieved fairies with her. Then Oberon and Puck are left alone, and Oberon is still raging, but he begins to think, oh, I've got a very smart idea. He has a very high opinion of himself, and he very condescendingly explains to Puck his genius plan to use this flower. And Puck is getting very bored of Oberon's lecturing. He only really gets excited when Cupid is mentioned, who is his idol, you know, a notorious trickster like himself. He's very excited. He even goes so far as to like mimic Cupid with a bow and arrow. But as soon as Oberon sees this, he gives Puck a very stern look, and Puck is back to being very bored. Eventually, Puck is given permission to leave, go find the flowers. He's excited to have a job that will create mischief, and he runs away. As Puck runs away, Oberon hears people off stage. He hides behind a chair, turning invisible, and so Demetrius and Helena enter. As they talk, it becomes more clear that Demetrius is disgusted by Hermia. The very thought of her existence makes him want to retch. He is wounded by her touch, so anytime he even comes close, he just instinctively runs a few steps back, which leaves her very hurt because she is enamored, she's devoted to Demetrius, but again, she's still happy to even just be in his presence. And as she becomes more aggressive, Oberon is watching all of this in a combination of fascination and concern for these very weird mortals. So Helen becomes more aggressive, and Demetrius is forced to resort to crawling behind a chair and fending her off with its legs, which delays her for long enough that he can, let her know how horrible of a person she is and then run away. Helena, hurt but very determined, runs off and follows him. So Oberon emerges from his hiding, and he looks past and in concern for these bizarre mortals. And then he begins to monologue to his own. He enjoys hearing his own voice and feels good about himself for having a modicum of them. So Puck returns with a flower, very proud and excited, but is quickly bored by Oberon monologuing and discussing the plan again for like the third time now. Eventually, he's given his instructions, and he leaves to complete his task, almost tripping over himself and theirs in order to mess with these humans. Oberon, feeling very smart and very important, exits and the scene ends. So when we were adapting that, I wanted to be able to maintain a lot of the character dynamics. So we decided to change our interpretation to that of within the context of a website / social media forum that substitutes for the forest. So Titania and Oberon, instead of being king and queen, they're now moderators on this website. And Hermia is now not just a very attached, clingy person, but she's quite literally a stalker. Demetrius is just another user on the website who's trying to find love, and he cannot deal with her. Robin is kind of a semi-famous personality who thinks he's more important than he is. He's known for messing with people online. And the flower is now a virus that that changes the layout of the website to be, while it's a dating app, you're stuck with the first person who comes up in your feed. And so because of and last thing, all of the fairies are now kind of followers of either Oberon or Titania. So Oberon's plan is now to get Puck to find the flower, which is a virus, somewhere online, send it to him, and then he'll use it to infect Titania's computer as well as Demetrius's. So he gives this instruction to Puck. Puck comes back and he messes up, which is not in the scene, but he does not understand the directions. He gets cut off a little bit, and so he runs off to complete this task that is going to lead to utter chaos. I think that's pretty much it. So I can play the clip now. Okay.
Got a flower here. Welcome.
There it is.
A freebie given. I know a bank where the wild thyme flows, where oxlips and the nodding violet grows. White over canopy by luscious woodbine, with sweet musk roses and with elegantine. There lies Titania sometime of the night, lulled in these flowers of dances and delight. And there the spade throws her enameled skin, need wide enough to wrap a fairy in. And with this juice I'll streak her eyes and make her full of hateful fantasies. Take that from it. A sweet Athenian lady is in love with disdainful youth. Anoints his eyes with dewy
That's it. And
Wow, thank you. It was a really creative use of part of your scene. So great job. It was really, I just, everyone, I'm so impressed with how everyone's just figured out something to do here. So it's really impressive. Just in the interest of time, let's just hear from like one of the judges, if someone wants to just volunteer, just so we can get through everyone, because I realize it's getting late. So Sarit, we didn't hear from you last time. Do you want to?
Sure.
Just give them some.
Yeah, I think that what you did with the dating website is so clever. I want to see a full production of Midsummer done in that style. And that's really my favorite thing about Shakespeare, is that it fits in any medium, in any time, in any place, with any people. And I think that your idea is really a testament to that. So congratulations. Really, really clever.
That's excellent. Yeah, great job. Okay. Rebecca, okay, we are up to Rebecca. Losing my notes here.
I'm unmuted. Okay, so next we have
Idea School. Sorry, that's my school.
Emma, you are going to just give us the director spiel. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. So, unfortunately, there was a bit of miscommunication, and we weren't aware that this was going to be today until like a couple days ago. So unfortunately, my cast wasn't able to, get something together, but or be here today. But they're really a wonderful cast, and I just wanted to share with you guys just a little snippet of what our scene was. And I'm just going to perform the introduction that I wrote. I'm going to mention some of the stage directions as I recite it, and there's parts where my cast would do these like wonderful like bird calls and different sound effects, and you'll know when that would have come in. So here goes. I would have a chair set up in center stage, and let's just, we lay our scene on a midsummer's night in a mystical forest overgrown with plight. If you listen closely, you'll hear the chattering of the birds, the rushing of the brook, the whisper of words. Our forest lays at the crux of two worlds, the heavenly fairy kingdom, and Titania and Oberon would enter, arguing silently, and the worldly human realm, Helena and Demetrius, chasing each other, each in the throes of its own love-induced strife, a lover and her unrequited love, a husband and his wife. Without further ado, I present to you our heavenly royalty, Queen Titania and King Oberon. One the queen, the other her pawn. And at the other end of our forest, we have our desperate Helena and Demetrius. She loves him. He loves her not, for his heart belongeth to his own unrequited compatriot. These worlds exist side by side, but now we shall see what occurs when our two worlds collide. And then Puck would help me down. Our cast would cross in front of me as I stepped back and disappeared backstage, and we would set up with Fairy for the first part of the scene. So that was just a little piece. I hope you enjoyed it. Our cast was, we had Yehuda Zinberg as Titania, Ezra Glassman as Oberon, Nadiv Langer for Puck. We had Sarah Gorbatov as Helena, Sam Passner as Demetrius. Who didn't I say? Nurit Schlossberg as Barry, and me as director and stage manager and introducer. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Thank you, Emma. That was fun to see someone's introduction. We haven't had that as a way to show our scene yet. All right.
We have just
some commentary.
Commentary on the intro. Dathan, you look like you have something to say.
We don't hear you, Dathan. You're muted.
No, congratulations on the use of poetry. You're a writer. I love that. I want to congratulate you on that. And I want to also congratulate you that part of the mission of a director is to know when to actually punt. And that was a beautiful thing that you just did. I want to congratulate you on that. Stand for it. I wish I could see from what your vision was and how you set that up, what the rest of the work would have been like. I think it would have been really magical to see. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see you write a sonnet because you have a real poet in you, and I think that would be a great challenge to kind of hone that even further. But what you wrote was absolutely beautiful, and you performed it beautifully. Great job.
Thank you.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you, Idea School.
Great.
Next, we have Maya Note. What is your plan, ladies? Tova, are you sharing?
Okay.
Right, you're sharing?
Okay. Yeah, so, Alana, you can say if you want.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
Yeah. So first, before we do the video, we just have our director's vision. So we'll do that first. So hello, my name is Nora Epstein, and I'm one of the directors of the My Note Envision Shakespeare team, obviously. And the other director is Tova Miller, and shout out to our assistant director, Rivka Kraus. And then Tova is going to start us off.
Okay. Sorry. Since our scene relies heavily on physicality and movement, one of our actors, shout out to Maya Bates, has graciously prepared an animated video in order to show a taste of what our scene would look like in real life. So we're going to be showing after this a preview of the scene, as we were not able to have the full video ready, but Rebecca said that she will send out, once we finish it, the completed video to everyone at a later date if anyone wants to see it. Before we show the preview, we would like to highlight some of the important parts of our scene and explain our vision. So throughout our scene, the chairs moved around and symbolized different items, but one chair we always had remained in the center stage. So this chair, which was supposed to resemble a small tree stump, remained in the center to portray the centrality of the magic. Each character, whether human or fairy, has a scene which revolves around this small tree stump as they are tethered together to the magic at the center of the forest. So our lovely dancers, who are, I think, here today, shout out to Sonia and Ora, open the scene as they represent the magic of the forest, graceful and tangled in each aspect of the characters' lives. In Puck and Fairy scene, the dancers morph into objects such as apple trees, subtly influencing the scene with their twisted magic, no matter who or what they have become. In the beginning of our scene, we display the mischievous frenemy relationship between Robin and the fairy. At first, we see the enemy side of their playful relationship, such as when Robin sneaks up on the fairy and yells in her ear. As the scene progresses, the two warm up to each other, such as when Robin and the fairy pretend they are watching a movie and take out popcorn while watching the heated arguments of Titania and Oberon. In the scene between Titania and Oberon, we convey the palpable tension between the two characters. For example, such as when Oberon grabs Titania's hand, creating a sweet moment before Titania pulls away and continues her argument with Oberon. And Alana will finish the rest.
Okay, so because in the script it never says that Oberon exits during Helena and Demetrius's meeting, we decided to be creative. As you will see in our animation, Oberon uses his magic to interfere with Helena and Demetrius's conversation, showing his own evil and mischievous side. In the scenes with Oberon and Titania, the dancers shift alliances between the two monarchs, signifying the way in which the magic is pulled between the two royal fairies. At first, the dancers come in as Titania's backup dancer fairies, sassily snapping and sashaying throughout Titania's fierce battle with Oberon. However, once Titania leaves, the dancers transform into Oberon's magic. As Oberon plans, the dancers enact his visions. After telling Puck his plans, Oberon rejoices, and the fairies display Oberon's internal monologue by performing a cowgirl-like victory dance, with Oberon dazzling the world with his jazz hands in the background. The rest of the cast then joins Oberon's dreamlike thoughts, entering in pairs, Fairy and Puck and Helena and Demetrius, and each pair enters in a way that matches their characters, such as when Helena chases Demetrius in a cartoonish Tom and Jerry-like manner. The cast sings to the tune of We Are the Champions, no words because Oberon's mind has copyright issues, and the song ends with a cast and tableau. This exaggerated and peculiar ending is meant to portray that Oberon believes he controls the magic of the forest and the things that happen in it. The characters all dance around him because he believes he controls them. But the characters are cartoonish because it is not real, and instead is there to fulfill Oberon's wishful thinking and goofy perception of the world. Okay, so now Maya's gonna share our preview.
Okay, so I have to make Maya a host. Let's see, here she is. Okay.
Okay. I just want to make sure that people can hear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How now, spirit? Whither wander you?
Over hill, over dale, through bush, through briar, over park, over pale, through flood, through fire. I do wander everywhere, swifter than the moon's sphere, and I serve the fairy queen.
The rich worth of your virginity?
Your virtue is my privilege, for that it is not night when I do see your face. Therefore I think I am not in the night, nor doth this wood lack worlds of company. For you and my respect are all the world. Then how can it be said I am alone, when all the world is here to look on me?
There sleeps Titania, sometimes in the night, lulled in these flowers with dances and delight. And there the snake throws her enameled skin, weed wide enough to wrap a fairy in. And with the juice of this I'll streak her eyes, and make her full of hateful fantasies. Take thou some of it and seek through this grove. A sweet Athenian lady is in love with a disdainful youth.
Wow. That's really great.
That was really cool. Wow, you're such a talented artist.
All right, it's great.
So cool.
Yeah, the great thing about Envision Shakespeare during quarantine on Zoom is the myriad ways that people get to express their creativity. It's not just
Delivery.
acting, right? There's so many other things happening here. So great job. So judges, we'll hear from a few of you. Let's hear from two judges. Yeah, go ahead, Arlie.
I loved just the show that you understood the subtext and the little notes written on the side of people. Really, really great job with that.
I love the sheet crazy.
No, again, I'm just dazzled by the imagination, what you have created, and the artwork was. Someone needs to go and make sure that they pursue that and add that to everything they have in their arsenal. That was absolutely beautiful storytelling. All those boards actually linked me very clearly to what your vision was. And I particularly liked the use of sharing with your co-worker how together. That was a true example of what happens in collaborative theater. And I like the fact that the two of you took the time to share your work together. That's what theater is, relations.
Yeah, well said. Okay, great. Yeah, we have Shall Have It next.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I just want to.
Go ahead. Yes, Tova, go ahead.
I just want to include one thing. So one thing that our actors wanted to include in the scene that they really wanted to include, but unfortunately we couldn't fit it. So Dina.
We really wanted to do animal sounds, but instead we just have my dog here now. It's his birthday. He's 8 years old.
Happy birthday.
And I would show my dog, but she is somewhere off. I don't know where.
I may have another dog. Some of you may have seen my
My
cat.
dog is here.
Yes, very cute. Okay, awesome. All right, next we have Shall Have It.
Hi, so our director doesn't have, Zahava, doesn't have, hi Sarit, doesn't have such great internet connection. So we asked Nessia to speak on her behalf, and she's going to give a little bit of a director's cut. We decided to have fun with this. So I think you're going to see a lot of a more entertaining version of perhaps what we would have done on stage. So I just wanted to give everyone a hoot, and Sarit, you'll recognize some of the backgrounds. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Rebecca Yehudit is going to be sharing the videos.
Okay, I'll get that ready.
Okay.
So, like Mrs. Board said, this is
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, like Mrs. Board said, this is on behalf of our student director, Zahava Gantra. When my group first started this scene, we decided to make ours the funniest interpretation there is. We wanted our extra to be more than just a piece of the farce, so we had her hit Puck in the face at one point and react to what the character said. Helena and Demetrius had such a drama-filled bit, and it's a shame that it won't be seen in the proper light. We had a lot of fun prepping this, and we put together a blooper reel of our practices. I hope you enjoy the show, and we really enjoyed seeing our interpretations, and we can't wait to see the next ones too.
Okay, I made Yehudit a co-host. You should be able to.
Yehudit, where's Yehudit?
Here we go. Okay.
I'm doing it now.
Did you hit
Can you
on
guys
the
hear
sound? So I think this is just our introduction now. Yehudit is showing, if it loads.
Yeah, this is our intro thingy.
Thank you, Zahava.
The room fairy spin, but you could do like a little twirl, because I'm going up into over.
Sadly dote upon the next live creature that whom you ravished.
That's my favorite.
Oh, illness. Urban, be that here again, and Leviathan can swim a league. I'll put a girl around about having once this or man or woman.
Fire, my heart is true. Okay. Kind of.
No, you're not.
Who is Charlene?
Me.
We want to set her free. So the story shall be changed. Apollo flies.
Sweet Athenian lady is in love with a disdainful youth.
You.
Anoint his eyes. Maybe I should be looking. Yeah, so that's how I would start a rebellion.
Run when you will, the story shall be changed. Apollo flies and Daxter will chase.
Oh my god.
Draw me, hard-hearted adamant. And I'm sick when I look not on you. Just say one.
Convenient garments, hands on. Effective.
Practice doesn't stop for anything.
And sometimes making drawn on iron for my heart isn't true. We never make a good rebellion without.
Okay, but who is it after? Who do I see?
Aphrodisias says, as Rabbi Shua said on it.
Okay.
Aphrodisias.
Mrs. Board stuff.
And
we are Mrs. Board.
Do I really need to be here for this?
There's Skila Strafa Harrigan-Hanek.
A wild beast. The wild beast.
Hi, it's Charlize and your best friend Ellie.
This is Board on camera also. I am Mrs. Board.
No, you have to get Mrs. Board.
A lot of that was Yehudi, did you want to explain or introduce our?
Yeah, but I'm on like this camera. I'm not actually Ellie. But yeah. So we just I was like bloopers and like behind the scenes to show like what we're all like, and also we know that it's not Envision Shakespeare because there's a lot of inside jokes in that. So it would take a while for me to explain what like that actually like the joke was. But we also have another video that's like more like serious, I guess. So I'll show you that.
Okay. Is it working?
I hope it's gonna. Let me just try to do something.
You might have to shut down your device and then turn it back on again. We might have to move on if it doesn't work because it's getting really late and we still have the sonnets to do.
You want to see if I could share it? You want to make me the host quickly, and if not, we'll move on?
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead, you're co-host now.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I'm going to open it, and if it doesn't open, we'll just move on.
Okay.
You know what, Rebecca, you want to go on to someone else in the meantime? And if I'm able to open it, I'll send you a chat.
Yep, that sounds fine.
Okay.
Next and last but not least is TABC. So who is going to be sharing? Was it Ben?
Yeah, I'm sharing the video.
Okay, let me set you up. Okay, go ahead, Ben. Can you make it louder?
I still can't hear it on my end.
Yeah, Ben, I can't hear it either. Is there any way you can make it louder?
I'm at the max.
You're at the max on your screen?
Yeah.
Is the net, maybe it's just your video. Do you want to just sort of give us a sense of what you were saying and then you can like fast forward to the sharing part?
Sure. So what I was saying here is that throughout the play, that Puck is known as a trickster, and so one of the ways that we decided to show this was through one of Titania's monologues, where he would play a trick on Titania and tie her shoelaces together so that when she would go to walk, that she would fall over and trip. And so that would be one of the ways that we would have resembled Puck throughout the play as a whole. But here, let me just skip to.
The audio is not working.
Ben, try putting yourself on mute. Maybe it'll help.
Yep.
I still can't hear anything.
Hello?
Yeah,
we-
I'm not able to hear it, Ben. Maybe, are you able to kind of just give an explanation of what part of the scene you did and set up that the part with Luzzie, that being the sleeping person? Just
Okay,
yeah.
so sorry about the video not working. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that. But to give a rundown of our scene, so we really saw the scene in two ways. One, so where it could apply as a reality, where in reality two parents could be arguing, and so here, so I had to skip over a little bit more of my introduction. I was trying to explain what I was saying there, but so in the beginning, I would have this is my bad on my part, but I would have shown that. So here it would have been Leslie's parents. They would have been arguing, but he'd heard enough. He was sick and tired of it because they were yelling about everything. They were going through the family. They were going through a tough time, and so he slipped out. It was a beautiful midsummer night, and he slipped out the back and fell asleep in the woods. And he dreamt the most peculiar dream. So then it would have transferred into the dream where so we just chose to show a small part of it where so here we have the whole back and forth between Oberon and Titania and a little bit past up until I'm not sure about the exact line, but we have the whole back and forth between them, and so it shows how it would really relate to the reality of what Leslie would have been going through. And so the second part of our video, which we attempted to show from what we would have done in real life had we been in person, was the physicality of the scene, not just in being like physical and demonstrating all the things that are going on, which we tried to do, but also in the emotions. That when there was anger, we tried to show the anger, and when there was sadness, we tried to show the sadness. And if there's an argument, which is the whole scene, we really try to represent that as a whole. And so our main goal was, so those are our two main goals, to really, one, represent what was going on in the what could go on as a reality in the real world, and two, show the physicality of the scene.
Thank you, Ben.
And I would just like to give a quick thank you to everyone from the TABC team who worked really hard over the course of the year to put together really what we would thought to be a really amazing production of the scene, and to Dr. Master, who guided us through the entirety of our scene and helped us work and really worked with us at any time that we could need. And so I just like to give a special thank you to Dr. Master.
Thank you, Ben. Let's just maybe have one judge speak and comment on their creative way of expressing their scene, and then we can quickly move to the sonnets, because I know it's getting late, and I know the seniors don't really have school tomorrow, but the rest of you probably do. So, I'm going
to jump in because what I do want to congratulate you on is that I like the use of the sock puppets, because your concept reminded me immediately of Punch and Judy. And particularly in this time of isolation and self-isolation, it is one of the things that is psychologically talking about people that are in some way forced to be in confined areas with each other, and that leads to those type of things. So I think that was kind of a brilliant spin on exactly what happens and how, indeed, when you're in that confined situation, you do want to get outside. And that's a very lovely thing that he had to get outside, escape, and fall asleep. There's a very famous production of this that was done by Peter Brooks that was set in like 72. And he kind of mixed all different kind of facets of this world to create something that's really, really fantastical. And I think you were probably on the exact same track.
Cool, thank you. Shalhavit said that they're ready to show their scene. So let's see if you can go ahead and get it up quickly. Mrs. Gord, are you the one doing it?
And we'll take it from there. Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's give it a try.
Either I mistake your shape in making quite, or else you are that shrewd and knavish sprite, called Robin Goodfellow, are not you he, that frights the maidens of the villagery? Skim milk and sometimes labor in the kern, then bootless make the breathless housewives churn, and sometimes make the drink bear no barm, mislead night wanderers laughing at their harm. Those that hobgoblin call you, and sweet Puck, you
It's frozen.
Oh. All right. I'm not gonna keep everyone. We had such a cute video, but maybe we could send it out to the group.
I have it up, so if you want, I can share it.
Why don't we move on, and you can definitely send it, and I'll send yours. I know there's a couple other groups who would like to send theirs. Ben, I'm happy to send yours, so I can send an email with all the links, so that way you can sit and listen to the audio and be able to appreciate it fully. Thank you. We're now going to move on. That was amazing, first of all, and I loved how every single one was its own unique way to present something. So kudos to you and your creativity. It's really inspiring to see how many people are so talented, multifaceted, talented type of people. It's really cool. Okay, so let's move on to our sonnet competition. There aren't as many people, and sonnets are quite short, so hopefully that won't take that long. So we'll try to get to it as quickly as possible. So let's see, we're going to do reverse alphabetical order. So Frisch, you're going to go first. Mr. Levin, are you prepared?
So actually Moshe recorded himself, so I'm just going to share, if you could make me a co-host again, I'm going to share the screen of the recording.
Perfect. Okay, so judges, if you wouldn't mind pulling out your evaluation sheets, and you can, there's only one first participant. His name is Moshe, M-O-S-H-E. So you can go ahead and mark that down. And we will view his sonnet now.
Okay. So this is Moshe, and he's performing Sonnet 66.
Tired with all these, for restful death I cry. As to a whole desert, the beggar born, needy nothing, trimmed in jollity, and purest faith unhappily forsworn, angle of honor shamefully misplaced, maiden virtue rudely strumpeted, and right perfection wrongfully disgraced, and strength by limping sway disabled, and art made tongue-tied by authority, and folly doctor-like controlling skill, and simple truth miscalled simplicity, a captive good attending captive ill. Tired with all these, from these would I pecan. Leave that, die. I leave my love alone.
Okay.
Tired with all.
Okay, thank you to Moshe. And I think next we have
Sarah.
Sarah on my deal.
Cool. Is Sarah on? Is she sharing her own, or am I sharing?
I think Sarah, I saw her here. I don't know if she...
I think Sarah had to go, but
you have
I think she sent you her video.
I'm here, actually.
Oh, hi, Sarah.
Oh,
Sarah, do you want to share your own? Can you share it?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you co-hosting. All right, there you go.
1 second.
All right, and Sarah's from which school?
Idea School.
My love is as a fever.
Oh,
we lost you. Uh-oh. Wait.
Ill, the uncertain, sickly
Can you hear it?
Yeah, start again.
Start again.
Okay, sorry.
My love is as a fever, longing still for that which longer nurseth the diseased, feeding on that which doth preserve the ill, the uncertain, sickly appetite to please. My reason. The physician to my love, angry that his prescriptions are not kept, had left me. And I desperate now approve, desire is death. Zick did accept. Past cure I am. Now reason is past care, and frantic mad, with evermore unrest, my thoughts and my discourse as madmen's are. At random, from the truth vainly expressed, I have sworn thee fair, and thought thee bright, who art as black as hell, as dark as night.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay. All right. Thank you. That was awesome. So our next school we have, let's see, Shall Have It, Idea School, Frisch. Shall Have It. Oh, I didn't go in opposite order. That was my bad. Who from Shall Have It is sharing?
I'm doing a sonnet, but I didn't record. I'm doing it live.
Okay. Who said that?
Me.
Chava?
Yeah.
Okay. So Chava from Shall Have It.
Yes.
Right. Off you go.
Okay. I'm doing sonnet 106, when in the Chronicle of Wasted Time. When in the Chronicle of Wasted Time, I see descriptions of the fairest wights, and beauty making beautiful old rhyme, in praise of ladies dead and lovely knights. Then, in the blazon of sweet beauty's best, of hand, of foot, of lip, of eye, of brow, I see their antique pen would have expressed even such a beauty as you master now. So all their praises are but prophecies of this, our time, all you prefiguring. And for they looked but with divining eye, they had not skill enough your worth to sing. For we, which now behold these present days, have eyes to wonder, but lack tongues to praise.
Thank you, Chava. Next we have Bruria. I believe there are 3 students who are presenting. How would you like to do them? Shalva, are you presenting? Are you screen share?
What Shalva's trying to say is that she sent them all to you.
Okay, so you want me to share it? Okay. Are they just all back to back? Okay. Okay, this looks like Vered Gottlieb. Vered.
What sonnet is this?
I don't know.
Okay.
Doesn't say. Hold on. Can you guys see my screen?
It's sonnet 60.
Thank you.
You cannot.
You cannot. Okay, so I have to just go back to here. Okay, screen share. There it is. Okay. Oh, share sound. Okay, good. All right, so you said 60? Okay, here we go.
My name is Vered Gottlieb. I go to Berea and I'm doing Sonnet 60. Like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end, each changing place with that which goes before. In sequent toil, all forwards do contend. Nativity, once in the main of light, crawls to maturity, wherewith being crowned. Crooked eclipses gainst his glory fight. And time that gave doth now his gift confound. Time doth transfix the flourish set on youth, and delves the parallels in beauty's brow, feeds on the rarities of nature's truth, and nothing stands but for his scythe to mow. And yet, to times, in hope my verse shall stand, praising thy worth, despite his cruel hand.
Okay, thank you, Vered. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to find the rest. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, here's the next one. Okay. Shaba, what number is it?
Hi, I'm Shaba Poppers. I'm from Berea, and this is Sonnet 129. The expense of spirit in a waste of shame is lust in action. And till action, lust is perjured, murderous, bloody, full of blame, savage, extreme, rude, cruel, not to trust, enjoyed no sooner but despised straight, past reason hunted, and no sooner had past reason hated, as a swallowed bait on purpose laid to make the taker mad, mad in pursuit and in possession, so had, having, and in quest to have, extreme. A bliss in proof, and proved a very woe. Before a joy proposed, behind a dream. All this the world well knows, yet none knows well to shun the heaven that leads men to this hell.
Great. Great job.
Okay, I believe we have one more from Veria. I'm going to quickly pull that up.
Be on the camera?
Okay, so we have one more, and it is Baracha Glak, Bracha. Here she is.
Hi, my name is Bracha Gluck. I'm from Berea High School, and I will be performing Sonnet 90 by William Shakespeare. Then hate me when thou wilt, if ever, now when the world is bent my deeds to cross, join in the spite of fortune, make me bow, and do not drop in for an after loss. Do not, when my heart hath scoped the sorrow, come in the rear wind of a conquered woe. Give not a windy night, a rainy morrow, to linger out a purposed overthrow. If thou wilt leave me, do not leave me last, when other petty griefs have done their spite, but in the onset come, so shall I taste at first the very worst of fortune's might. And other strains of woe, which now seem woe, compared with the loss of thee, shall not seem so.
Great.
Wow, stiff competition in the sonnet department. Okay, so I will put the judges into a breakout room real quick, and Nancy will do a little bit of Shakespeare trivia just to kind of have a little bit of levity and fun, and we'll get to that, and we'll be wrapping it up really soon. So thank you guys for hanging with us and staying up a little later than maybe some of you normally do. Okay.
Okay. So unfortunately, the trivia contest is usually like one of the favorite things that I love to do at Envision Shakespeare, and I have all these prizes sitting in my house, which I can't give out now. So, but we'll just have to do this for fun. Okay, so really quickly, I think the best way to do this, I'm just gonna have to like see if you know the answer, raise your hand. You're gonna have like no Googling because that's cheating. Okay, we're gonna try to make this like one of those trivia contests online. You know, we have 10 seconds, right? Like I used to play HQ. Nobody plays it anymore. I think it's back. But anyway, okay. So Shakespeare trivia. I'm not going to make it multiple choice this time. So if you know the answer, you just shout it out. Okay, we'll start easy and we'll get a little harder. Okay. What was the name of the town in England that Shakespeare was born in and lived in before he went to London? If we have a hand. Vered, is that, oh no, I'm sorry, Nava. Yes, okay, I see you, Nava. Nava?
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's like Stratford upon Avon.
That is correct. I believe Stratford upon Avon, but yes, very good. Virtual prize, okay. All right, here's a good one, okay, and I have to be able to see everyone here. It's kind of hard. I really don't like Zoom. Okay, how many sonnets did Shakespeare write? How many sonnets did Shakespeare write? Okay, just nobody? Do I have an answer? Ms. Razel Fine, you look like you want to try. No? Okay, anyone? Nobody has an answer for that one?
Maybe it's in the 190s.
Okay, that was a maybe. Emma.
I'm not sure if I remember correctly.
Just shout it out. It's a quick answer. You have 10 seconds. Go.
154.
Yes, 154. You were sure. Very good. Okay, very good. Okay, here we go. This is really hard because I can't even. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Which of Shakespeare's plays is the shortest? Which of Shakespeare's plays is the shortest? Gedalia. Yeah.
King Lear.
Say, I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
King Lear.
Oh my, if King Lear were the shortest, maybe it wouldn't be that depressing. Nope, that is not the answer. I'll give one more person to try. Tova.
I could be really wrong, but Taming of the Shrew.
I love how everyone says they're wrong. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Okay, it's not Taming of the Shrew. It's Comedy of Errors. It's the Comedy of Errors. I'm sorry. Okay, up. Lonnie, you don't get to. It's for the kids, for the children. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to throw out some quotes from some great plays. If you know the play, you can tell me. Okay. Here we go. If music be the food of love, play on. Yes, bracha.
12th Night.
12th Night. I love 12th Night. Okay, that was awesome. Throwing you a virtual prize. Very nice. Okay. All right, here we go. All that glisters is not gold. All that glisters is not gold. Ah, Molly.
Merchant of Venice.
Merchant of Venice. That is correct. Yes, Dr. Master. I see you. Dr. Master and I taught Merchant of Venice for many years altogether. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Here we go. Another quote. All right. This one's a little more difficult. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. This is a challenge question. A challenge question. Yes, Lisa Gans.
Is it Julius Caesar?
It is not, but that was an excellent guess. Okay, and Nava, we'll have one more try.
King Henry.
Oh my God. Yes, which one? If this were a real trivia question, you'd have to tell me which one exactly.
Okay, the fourth.
Which one? Because there's many.
The fourth.
Good. More. There's more. Okay, so
which part two?
Henry IV part. Yes, Henry IV part 2, and that actually is right, and that would make sense because in Henry IV part 2, that's when Prince Hal is like, oh yeah, I got to be king pretty soon in the next play, Henry V, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to you for knowing that stuff because that's hardcore Shakespeare. Like we don't read the history plays in high school, so the fact that you knew that about that was really cool. Okay, all right, here we go. Here's another one. To thine own self be true. To thine own self be true. I don't have a lot of participants. It is late in the night. Vered. You're also wearing pink, which is nice. That's your name. Okay, yes.
Hamlet.
Hamlet. Very good. To thine own self be true. Who says it in Hamlet, Vered, by the way?
I'm not sure. I'd guess Ophelia.
No. Anyone know who says that in Hamlet? Do I have Hamlet people here? That is Polonius, who's got a lot to say to his son Laertes, as Laertes is saying. He has big advice speech to him. And one thing he says, this above all, the end of all the stuff he says, to thine own self be true. Okay, here we go. All right, here's another one. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. What play is that from? All the perfumes of Arabia. Razel.
Is that Macbeth?
That is absolutely Macbeth, and that is Lady Macbeth. And she just cannot wash that blood off her hands, except there isn't any blood on her hands. She just can't sleep, and she thinks there's blood on her hands. Razel, do you have 2 brothers?
No.
You don't? Oh, okay. I taught 2 brothers named Fine at one point, so they're not really your brothers. Okay.
I have cousins.
Oh, okay. Then maybe I taught your cousins. Are they from, where are they from?
Brooklyn.
Did they go? Oh, then never mind. Nope, I didn't teach your cousin. Okay. Anyways, nice to meet you though. Okay, here we go. Here's more trivia. Okay. Okay, here's a good trivia. What did Shakespeare leave to his wife in his will? Yes, Tova Miller.
Didn't he leave
something weird?
His bed or something?
Yes, he did. That's also hardcore Shakespeare stuff. He left a lot of stuff to like his daughter and other people, and like some people think like he didn't have such a great relationship with his wife. By the way, he was in London most of the time and she was back home in Stratford-upon-Avon. But at the end, he added this thing and he said he left her his second best bed, which is just weird. But yeah, that's cool that you knew that. Okay, let's find some more questions. Okay. What happened to all my questions? Let's see. Okay, who says, from what play is this? All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Another comedy that we really do not read so much in high school. It's a comedy. That's my guess. Yes, Tamar. Yes, Tamar.
As You Like It.
As You Like It. Correct. Excellent. Okay. Beautiful. That's a great play. Very good. Okay, that's good. That was a really great answer. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant taste of death but once. The valiant never taste of death but once, excuse me. And Gedalia knows that, yes.
Hamlet.
Not Hamlet, no.
Oh,
One more. Napa.
Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar, very good. Okay, that's nice. Yes, it is Julius Caesar, and Julius Caesar himself says that in Julius Caesar. Yes, okay, that is great. We did Julius Caesar and Envision Shakespeare 2 years ago. Yeah, so that was good. That was a very long scene. Okay. Okay, here's a really interesting trivia question. Okay, is anyone here like familiar with Star Trek or ever watched Star Trek or know that there's like a language on Star Trek called Klingon? Okay, so here's a Shakespeare trivia question. Which 2 Shakespeare plays happen to be translated into Klingon? I guess it's just anybody's guess, right? Because like who would know that if you came here? First of all, the fact that there are Shakespeare plays translated into Klingon is kind of cool. Anyway, you want me just to tell you what they are? Oh yes, go ahead. If you know this, Emma, you are like, yeah, go ahead.
I know that one of them was Hamlet.
How did you know that? Because you took a Klingon class? Okay, right. Yeah, me too. Yeah, so one of them is Hamlet, good. And the other one is actually Much Ado About Nothing. But that is amazing that you knew that, Emma. That is really cool. Okay, all right. And which of Shakespeare, I asked you which was the shortest play, so it's Comedy of Errors. Which of Shakespeare's plays is the longest? Anybody want to hazard a guess? Which of Shakespeare's plays, who said Hamlet? Another one, yes, okay. That is Hamlet, that is correct, okay. It is Hamlet. Hamlet's really long, and it's usually not even, you know, it was very seldom actually performed in its entirety, like ever on stage. And actually when Kenneth Branagh made it into a film, I think it was in 1996, he used every single word of it, and there was an intermission in the theater. That's how long it is. Shakespeare's plays that's a really long play. So, yeah, okay. All right. This would be a lot more fun if I could actually send you guys all the presents that I bought. And I bought some really good presents this year. So you'll have to come back next year if you're not seniors, because the presents are here. They're very cool. So I have some socks. I mean, I have some really cool things. Okay, what was the name of Shakespeare's wife?
Anne something.
Anyone know her full name? She shares the name. Yes, Shalva. Well, I could. Your audio is funny, but I think you said it. I think you said Anne Hathaway. Did you?
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. So she shared. There's a famous actress who shares her name. So that's okay. Anne Hathaway. Great. Okay. All right. Well, those judges are taking a long time. We've also lost a lot of people. I see a lot of black. If this were class, I'd be saying, everyone turn your cameras on, but this is not class. This is 10:30 at night. Okay, let's see. Where are the rest of my questions? Okay, here we go. All right, here's a good question for all you hardcore Shakespeare people. What university did Shakespeare attend? Yes, Vered?
I feel like he didn't.
You would feel correctly, correct. He did not go to college, right? And he did not go to university. He only had a grammar school education. And that is why there are people who have theories that Shakespeare couldn't possibly have actually been the author of his plays, because how could a grammar school taught person, know all that stuff? How could he be such a genius? So that's why there's a controversy. Most Shakespeare scholars that I like and respect. Most Shakespeare scholars they're fine with, believing that the man Shakespeare actually did write his plays. But we don't have actually a lot of information about Shakespeare. People who write about him have to piece together a lot of information from a lot of other sources. So there were people who knew Shakespeare, people who wrote about Shakespeare, people who lived contemporaneously with him, but he didn't leave behind a lot of stuff. We have his will, we have a lot of documents and things like that. It's interesting. But he did not go to university, so that was really good. You feel like he didn't. That is true.
All right.
We're back.
We're back. We're ready to wrap it up. So,
okay, great. So anyway, thank you guys. Thank you guys
for sticking around. I know it's really late. So I think I'm going to do my final remarks now. Then I'm going to throw it to Dathan for just a couple words, and then we'll announce the winners and say goodnight. So thank you again to all the participants, the teachers, the schools, and students, the judges, Nancy and myself, and Lonnie. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. It really was just a fun experience seeing all your interpretations and all your dedication, and it just really aches in me that we couldn't be live together to see these come to fruition, because you were so close to performance, and I know that's so painful, but thank you for your amazingly creative voices, and the way that you've interpreted all your scenes. They were so amazing, and I'm lucky that I got to see most of you in person in your workshops, so that was I feel lucky that I got to do that. Thank you to all the seniors who are not returning next year, but once you graduate, you are always welcome back to hang out with us and maybe even be a judge one day. You never know, it does happen. So it's not goodbye, it's see you later, and we'll see you in 2021, hopefully in person. For those of you who are going to be in Israel that year, maybe you can zoom in, because that's a thing now. So that would be great to see you in that way. I'm going to head over to Dathan just to say a couple words, and then we'll award our winners. Hold on, you're muted, Dathan. Unmute yourself.
Hello. So I'm going to jump in and pick up what you said about Zoom. What I want to do is I want to congratulate everyone for the absolute brave and beautiful work that you have done. What is really outstanding to see and to understand is that every single one of you embrace the medium that we are in. And what I'm seeing continually throughout this time period is that everyone in this country is still depending on the arts. Everyone is still going to watch things on YouTube. Everyone is going to watch things on Netflix. Everyone is going to watch things on TV. And we are all embracing this medium. And the fact that you have used your brilliant young minds to embrace this form and play something out into the world, you must stand in your light and applaud yourselves. I want to congratulate every single one of you. Congratulations. That was beautiful work. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You can send me all of the videos that you wish for me to add to my Envision Shakespeare YouTube page. So if you want to allow others to kind of share in our light, then you're welcome to, and I can do that. If you don't want to, that's fine. No hard feelings. Okay, so the judges actually had some really interesting conversations about the sonnets, and they decided that the best way to honor the sonnets today were to create two sort of equal but separate awards, especially because of this new medium that you were kind of forced to play to. So one award is Best Interpretation of the Sonnet, where the person who interpreted the sonnet was creative and understanding and thoughtful and honored the way a sonnet should be spoken with the couplet at the end and so on. And then the other award, they wanted to create an award that's really unique just to this sort of medium, where the person who will win the award is the best adaptation of their sonnet to video. They really played to the camera and it made it really come alive for that way. So our winner for best interpretation is Shalva. Thank you so much. You are awesome. Yay! And our winner for best adaptation for video is Sarah. Are you there? They are. There's Sarah. Yay! Thank you. If you can just email me your addresses as soon as the Trophy King opens up, I will be putting in a request for your specific special trophies that will have Envision Shakespeare, 2020, and these titles on them with your names. And I don't know if Nancy, if you wanted to say one final goodbye, I think we can sign off in a moment.
Yeah, goodbye. Thanks to everyone for sticking it out. People who are still here. Tonight was really great, and again, I was just blown away by everybody's creative interpretation of their scene for this medium, for this time. I know it's been very difficult, but and I felt terrible, that we weren't going to be able to showcase everybody's work, but everyone was, really showcased their work in such a creative and meaningful way. So thanks to everybody, and I'm looking forward to next year in good health.
See you next year, Shakespeare 2021.
Yay!
Yay, bye everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, good night.
Night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Bye.
Bye. Thank
You're welcome. Bye.
Hi, Rebecca.
Oh. Oh, goodness.